Jesus. Look at Sue already. Big Sills, let's go. Come on, Big Sills, let's go. What are we doing here? Good afternoon. And happy Football Friday to you on what's going to be a very interesting game on Sunday. And make no mistake about it, I can't wait for this drama to play out on Sunday at Lincoln Financial. Week 15 of the National Football League goes into play this week. Also, Army-Navy on Saturday. Very interesting. By the way, hey, no, Joe. Big Sills is never late. We are on Big Sills time. Always remember that, all right? All supers go to the top. And please hit the like button. The first 15 are the most important to get your show to become one of the fastest growing shows in all of digital. You guys are doing it. You guys have really done it. By the way, look at this. Brock Purdy blows. Brock Purdy's a better quarterback than Jalen Hurts. You don't really want me to go into it. And stop using that fucking metric, QBR. Jameis Winston's got a higher QBR than Jalen Hurts. Jaden Daniels has a higher QBR. Kyler Murray has a higher QBR than Jalen Hurts. That's some metric that you guys are using. When a guy has the 31st ranked passing offense and his targets are completely down in the 50s. Hey, I mean, really, Brock Purdy is going to make $55 million. Hey, by the way, I don't use the QBR ranking. You do. This guy's one of the highest ranked QBRs in all of pro football. And you're like, dude, are you really kidding me? I mean, look at this too. You know, Silsey is at a 68% completion percentage. Sam Darnold is also. Kyler Murray, Geno Smith, Baker Mayfield. All of those guys are in that room. Jalen Hurts, give me a fucking break. By the way, I knew you guys would start with that bullshit. Okay? 2023 Pro Bowler, led the NFL in passer rating last year. 23-11 as a starter, even with a shitty season this year. 4,280 last year and 31 touchdowns with 113, which led the league. And by the way, for the record, he's 4-2 in the playoffs. Your guys 5-3 or 2-3. How you doing? How you doing? 2-3. Jalen Hurts is in the playoffs. Brock Purdy's 4-2. Woo! I knew you'd start off with that bullshit. Come on, man. Come on, man. Brock Purdy. Give me a break. Hey, 49ers are not playing well, and it can't be because of that defense. They're third in total defense. That's a shitty football game last night. Kyle Shanahan running out of ammo, and he's also running out of excuses as a play-calling head coach. How you doing? I can't wait for this weekend. By the way, we are absolutely packed today. My boy Xander will join us at 3:30. Battle Royale. We had to move it from Wednesday to today between Philly 500 and Mark Holmes of the Dallas Cowboys. By the way, that loss to Cincinnati probably ended it for the Cowboys. Then again, it is the NFC. We shall see. Also, we will have our friend, the Philly Godfather. He will be on with us, as he always is, each and every single Friday at 5:30. Please hit the like button. All supers go to the top. We appreciate it there. Thank you very much. I can't wait for this game. The Battle of Pennsylvania. You bet, man. It's a state championship. That's how Mike Tomlin's doing it, too. This is going to be a very interesting football game. By the way, I'm going to give you my predictions here in a second. We'll do the predictions here in a minute here. Let's hear where you guys are. What do you see on Sunday against the Steelers? Okay? What do you see on Sunday? What do you see on Sunday? Okay? Let's hear Sills. We're going to lose this week. Hurts is good. Barkley won't get his touches. Brown wants every target. Negativity for the next. It's 4 hours, dickhead. Not 3 hours. It's 4 hours. How you doing? 26-19 Eagles. Becton running people over. He really is. 38-9 Birds. Slow, low-scoring game. I like that. I think so, too. I do. Here's Anthony. I think Anthony's starting to come around because I think it's that Paisan blood that he has between him and I. I see a W. Great Saquon game. After the first half, is force-feeding AJ in the offense will be going nowhere. I got what you mean here. I see a W. Great Saquon game after the first quarter. I think you mean first quarter, not first half. That's because they're going to be force-feeding A.J. Brown in that first quarter like they always have and like they've done the whole year. Okay, absolutely. And it's going to be a slow start, and then they'll get it going. And that's pretty much how they're doing. And that's not much how they've done it this year. Bang! It's going to be a great game, man. I can't wait. All right. Hey, real quick, can we do this before we get out of the gate? Odell Beckham was released today by the Miami Dolphins. I think Monday he clears waivers. Nobody's going to pick up his contract. Nobody. Okay? I think he played in 9 games this year. If you're the Eagles, do you sign him? It's going to be league minimum. You're not going to cost you anything. He's an upgrade to Dotson. Not that Jalen can throw to another wideout other than A.J. Brown. Do you sign him? It's not going to cost you a cent. And Odell probably would want to be on another team that has a chance to win a Super Bowl. And by the way, he would be your third wideout. He wouldn't be 1 or 2. He'd be the best number 3 wide receiver maybe in the league if he's healthy. Would you want that? I mean, I would think about it. Odell Beckham is a great decoy because who's going to cover him as your third guy? A slot guy? You got A.J. Brown. Maybe hey, you're trying to improve your passing game because what you're doing right now blows. Okay, stick to what you're doing. And hey, don't have an open mind in anything. I love how people just immediately jump to no. You know why? That's because you're not progressive thinkers. You're not thinking out of the box. Howie Roseman does. Jalen Hunt. Bryce Huff, for that matter. He thinks out of the box. You don't. Okay. Sure. Okay. Hey, by the way, if I'm the Ravens, I might think about signing him. If I'm the Lions, I might think about signing him. Hey, some of you I see in here are going, Beckham's washed as a number 1, number 2. Yeah, he is. He's better than Dotson. He's better than Dotson, and it creates insurance for you. If one of those turkeys get hurt, I get what you're saying, Sills, but Jalen is already missing wide open guys. I know. No. I'm thinking more of a decoy because Hurts won't find him. Hurts can't even find the guys he has now. Absolutely. Jalen Hurts barely finds dots. But again, you have a name, Odell Beckham in the 3-hole. If I'm a coordinator, I'm not going to let that guy run around the field, not with a guy on his hat. Okay? I mean, I don't know. Might be an option for you to take a look at it. Okay? Oh, my God. Are you guys ready? John Morgan, our good friend from Morgan & Morgan, is going to come on the program next week, and we're going to talk about college nil and all that. John's one of the richest people in the world right now, or in America, I should say. And we're going to get John Morgan on next week. So I just got a great text from him. I got to cover his phone number up. He says, I'll do it. How you doing? This guy's worth $1.5 billion. How you doing? Woo, boom, how you doing? Hey, Joe Krause, how you doing, brother? Hey, how you doing? Everybody wants to come on the program, and that's all because of you guys. Okay? All because of you guys. Appreciate you guys coming aboard. Please hit that like button. Give me a heads up on where we are in the likes now. Now, again, we're going to get into our takeaways here in a second. So, how many people would want Odell Beckham on the team? I would at least explore it. Okay? I would explore it. Okay? I would. Let's see. Senor had an actual great take. Okay? 59 likes. Shit, Joe, let's get it going up there, man. What about the soft-ass 49ers linebackers that walked off the field and did not want to play? I saw that. You think you've got a culture problem in Philly? That's a culture problem. That's a culture problem. Players refusing to play? You got a problem with your head coach. You don't want to play? Dude, what's going on in Philly compared to that? That is a Chernobyl meltdown. When you got guys refusing to go on the field, that is a head coaching issue. Okay? I mean, you put a guy on your roster. This is your name on your football team's roster. And you fucking don't want to go out and play for the guy? Dude, I'd cut him immediately. To sit there and have a guy like that on my football team. My team is already in ruin. And that guy's going to send my team totally down the toilet bowl? Dude, I got to say this, man. I think Kyle Shanahan right now, that seat's gotten a little hotter all of a sudden. I mean, you got a culture problem. I think we need roster depth for the edge. Well, there's nobody out there for that. Dirty D, I'm talking about a player that's a good player that, again, you're defining his role as a number 3 guy, not a number 1 or number 2. Dotson has not worked out. Then again, the quarterback has been bad this year. He's been bad. So, I mean, end of the day here, okay? I mean, you should at least explore it. All right, hit the like button here. Here's my takeaways, and here's my prediction. 10-3 Pittsburgh Steelers. They roll into Lincoln Financial versus the 11-2 Philadelphia Eagles, where actually the Steelers haven't won in Philadelphia since 1965. Probably back when the guy behind me was playing for the Eagles is the last time the Steelers won a ball game. And Ernie Stautner was on that Steeler team, one of the great Steeler D linemen, and one of the great defensive line coaches of all time, who coached me actually too, was probably on that Steeler team. How would you feel if Kyle comes to Philly? I don't think Kyle Shanahan can win big games as a head coach. He hasn't proven to me yet he can. Okay? I'm not saying Nick has won big games, but Kyle Shanahan, you know, one thing about Kyle versus Nick is at the behest of coordinators that you hire, and it's more organizationally controlled. Kyle Shanahan is the play caller. He has the entire offense in his hands. Nick doesn't. The organization pretty much has the play calling duties and also the offense in their hand. I'd say this to you, man. I think that guy's on a hot seat for sure. All right. Haven't won in Philadelphia since 1965, the Pittsburgh Steelers. They don't play a lot, but it's still something to think about. Does that have any relevance to the players of today? Absolutely not. It's still something out there. It's pretty cool that you're talking about 60-some years now that Pittsburgh hasn't gone into a place where they've gone into every place and won, and they haven't won in Philadelphia. It's pretty cool. I'd like to protect that. Eagles are 5-point favorites heading into this game. And by the way, the Vegas guys and the Atlantic City guys are saying 42.5. Nobody expecting a high-scoring ball game in this game. Okay? Hey, and for the record, Russell Wilson is 6-0 versus the Philadelphia Eagles in his career. It's a weird matchup because the things that Pittsburgh does are the things that the Eagles are struggling at. And they do them well. They're number one in time of possession, and they're number one in turnovers, which means this: they keep the ball out of your offense's hands, and they do a fabulous job at creating turnovers. Okay? I mean, and since you're one-dimensional, that's not a remedy for you. I mean, your passing game has got to show up Sunday. It's the one area, again, of the Steelers that does not play well. It's really an intriguing game, to say the least. And now look, the Eagles are on a 9-game winning streak. And they play in the NFC, which is the worst division and the worst conference, maybe in football, but they have done a great job against Burrow and Lamar Jackson's offenses. That's something to me. Those are offenses that perform in the AFC each and every single week, and they did a nice job against them. That means something to me. That's a metric. The Steelers do a great job defensively. There's no question TJ Watt is right now the defensive player of the year. And by the way, I don't believe it's close. I don't think it's close. I think he has absolutely put himself in a position where he's almost running away with that award. Tomlin versus Sirianni. You couldn't be more different than these two coaches. One guy has complete control of his team. The other guy doesn't. The other guy is more of a figurehead in Sirianni. The other guy's an actual coach. Sirianni's a figurehead who people kind of like, or half the room likes, or some, I don't know. I really don't know what his defining role is. I guess he's a good cheerleader and supposed to be in control of the environment. Mike Tomlin is actually the head coach, and Mike Tomlin actually has responsibilities, and that every coach hired is his hire. Every player drafted is his player. Every player signed is his player. Mike Tomlin signed off on Russell Wilson and Justin Fields coming to his team. That was his decision. That wasn't the organization's decision. That's Tomlin's decision. Let's not forget something about Russell Wilson, too. He turned down the opportunity on a 3-year contract that Howie Roseman offered him. He said, no, thank you. I don't want anything to do with that. Okay. I mean, right or wrong, he still voided the contract offer. The Eagles wanted him. And right now, he's in charge of a 10-3 football team that's playing really good. Russell Wilson didn't want to play for the Eagles. Okay. Maybe it's because he didn't want to play in front of the fans. Could be. This guy seems to be a little sensitive at times. They're going to sell out versus Barkley. Tomlin is going to take Hurts. Tomlin is going to make Hurts beat him. If he can't, we got a real problem. AJ might pull a San Francisco LB if no targets early in the ball game. Guys, please hit the like button. Give me a total on the likes right now. I'd like to see where we ended up in the first 15 minutes. Please hit that number. And all supers like Anthony go to the top. I don't think, Anthony, you have that kind of issue in your football team. I don't think AJ's ever going to pull something like that. I don't think he's ever going to go, I'm not playing. Okay? I'm not playing. I don't think so. I don't. I don't. Okay. Got about 4 more minutes here. So let's see if we can bang on that. Let's get it over 100, man. Mike Tomlin's a hell of a coach. And let's not, to Anthony's point here, all eyes are going to be on Hurts and A.J. Brown in this ball game. Russell Wilson versus Hurts. I mean, who's playing better? I think Russell Wilson right now is playing better as an all-around player. He's throwing the ball better. He's running the offense better. I don't know. I think right now Russell Wilson is playing better football than Jalen Hurts. You know why? They have to rely more on Russell Wilson in Pittsburgh than they do on Hurts. They don't rely on Hurts. They rely on his legs, not his arm. Look at the numbers. Okay? And I think Russell Wilson is playing better. That's why they put him in the position, and that's why, hey, by the way, if you're going to give credit to Jalen Hurts for the team being 11-2, you've got to give credit to Russell Wilson for the team being 10-3. It doesn't just fucking work for you. Please stop saying the NFC worse than the AFC. They are top heavy. The NFC is more balanced. Guess what this guy is saying here? Well, Keen's saying this. Detroit, Philly, yes. Minnesota, Green Bay, okay, and LA versus Kansas City, Buffalo, those two teams with those quarterbacks, the Ravens with Lamar, and the Steelers with Wilson. Do you really believe that Minnesota and Los Angeles are better teams than those Ravens teams? And do you really believe that? I don't. And by the way, if you're trying to tell me, look, I think Minnesota's a funny team. I don't know what to think of Sam Darnold. Sam Darnold's having a better year than Hurts. The record says it, and so does the numbers. Sam Darnold is having a better year than Jalen Hurts, and it's not close. It's not close. Okay? Not close. I think LA's getting better. I think the Rams are getting better and healthier. Okay? I do think that. Yes. Who would have thought Sam Darnold's having a superior year than Jalen Hurts? Sam Darnold. Okay? Sam Darnold. Unbelievable. Here's Jalen Hurts the last 3 games. 108, 118, 179. I mean, you're not really getting anything out of the passing game. The Steelers defense, I mean, this is what they do. Along with that offense, keep the ball away from you. Number 1 in the NFL in time of possession, and they're number 1 in turnovers. All that being said, hey, get this. Look at Trey. I know he's not. He's just playing better than your guy. Facts. Name me one thing that Jalen Hurts is doing better this year than Sam Darnold. One thing. It ain't winning. He's 11-2 also. Name me one thing that Jalen Hurts is doing better. One thing. Darnold is outplaying Mahomes is crazy. Yeah. But again, Mahomes is in a different room. This guy's fighting legacy, and he's fighting history of the league. Okay? That's nice, Sil. Here's Jalen's last 9, 9-0. That's Jalen's last 9, right? No one else. Because Jalen he's a mailman. Here, Saquon. Here, Saquon. Here, Saquon. Here, Saquon. He's benefiting from a historic running game that is on pace to do great things. You're 31st in passing. Your quarterback is almost last in the league with a passing offense. I thought the fucker was supposed to get better under Kellen Moore. What happened? Okay. All that being said, I got the Eagles winning at home. You're 5-point favorites. If you want to take the money and the Steelers, have at it. I got 23-20. I got 24-23. Eagles winning against the Steelers in a 1-point game. Okay? I got a 1-point win for the Eagles. Okay? 24-23. At home in a very physical football game. That's how I see the game. I think your defense is playing great. The only way that Pittsburgh wins this football game is if they get turnovers If they get turnovers from Hurts, I think that's the way they have to win. Okay? In my opinion. See here. I hate when Sills picks the Eagles to win. Hey. Okay, well, I mean, I don't have any skin in the game here. Look at it. Look at Niner all day. Hurts without Saquon's trash. Hey, Niner all day. Hurts without Saquon. It's 2023 all over again. Let's see here. A win is a win, big guy. Okay. No. Sills, you're so fake. You bash the Eagles all week, but you pick the Eagles. You're a joke. Fake? Yeah, that's what I am, Rick. Been doing it for 40 years. One thing you could never say. Hey, Rick, I don't give a fuck about the Eagles. I love their fan base. By the way, this is two great fan bases, Steelers and Eagles. Great passion between both of them. I don't give a fuck who wins. You got me. No. You got it wrong. I've been saying all week you have a really good football team. I've been saying all week, I think your quarterback stinks. I think your QB stinks. And I think he holds them back. Now, Sills has some facts, but he's just very biased against Hurts. Yeah, because he's not good enough. And you got a good football team and you got a bad quarterback. No, I'll take that back. You got an average quarterback. Dan, can you admit you were wrong about Nolan Smith yet? No, not yet. He's the 30th pick in the draft. Does that guy look like the 30th pick in the draft right now? Absolutely not. The 30th pick. That guy doesn't even resemble Jared Verse, and he's in his first year. No, he does. No. That guy looks still like a third rounder. That guy doesn't look like a first-round ball player. Absolutely not. Shit, if anybody looks like a second or first rounder right now, it's your boy Dean. Nolan Smith, you think that guy looks like a first-round ball player right now? Absolutely not. By the way, Jordan Davis doesn't look like a first-round pick. So, wrong. I'm not wrong. You still got 5 ball games to go here, son. Okay? You're still stupid? Genuine question. Are you naive? Stupid question. 49ers have crybabies all over the field when they're losing. Boy, man, I'm not going to deny that. Okay? I'm not going to deny that. Senor says the 49ers are a bust. Well, you'll be one too if you don't win the Super Bowl. So before you start throwing daggers at the 49ers, you better fucking win the Super Bowl. With your high-praised and high-priced offensive weapons, you better win the Super Bowl. Because no matter if they don't make the playoffs and you make it and you don't win it, you're more of a disappointment. They're not paying Brock Purdy $50 million. They're paying your boy $50 million. Okay? You will be a bigger disappointment this year than the 49ers. By far. By far. In Nolan Smith's defense, there are only about 5 players a year ago that go in the first round that actually live up to the first round talent. Okay. I never said he was a first rounder. I thought he was a third rounder. I never thought he was a first pick. Shit, Barrett Brooks thought he was a top 5 pick. I'm like, that guy is not a top 5 pick, let alone a first rounder. I never saw it. I never saw that at Georgia, that he was a first round talent. I saw a very athletic guy at the combines. I didn't see a great football player. Okay? I mean, I did not. Okay? Josh Allen won his division 5 years in a row. What did he do with it? Josh Allen, once again, guy, is on an island of misfit toys and winning with them. You have the collection of riches, and you shop at Neiman Marcus. The Bills had to cut $67 million in payroll, and they're still winning ball games. All of you in here said Allen would fade because of no Diggs. He's gotten better. And you know that QBR rating that you use? Allen's number 1 in it. Josh Allen has thrown the ball 400 times and taken 13 sacks. Your guy's thrown the ball 300 times and taken 35 sacks. Who's got better pocket presence? That guy or your guy? It's not close. It's not close. All right. Let's move on here. By the way, please hit the like button. We're picking the Eagles 24-23 in a very tight football game. I think this thing is going to be a tight game. I do. This is going to be a tight game, and it's going to come down to whether or not Jalen Hurts can win the ball game. You're going to have Hurts is eventually going to have to win you a ball game, isn't he? Here's Joaquin. Thank you for the super chat, Joaquin. I appreciate it. Whether you agree or disagree, I appreciate this, okay? And by the way, Joaquin, just so you know, you can't go on other shows in Philadelphia or any around the country and completely disagree with us. They would block you. You would never get on. This is the only place that we have a debate. Do you understand that? Debates are not allowed on CNN, Fox News, Sports Talk Radio in Philly. They're not allowed to have debates. We have debates here. Okay? All right. AJ messed up Pittsburgh's chances with his words. Now they have to prepare for the pass and the run. Tomlin knows Hurts can pass the ball. He remembers 22 well. I love that take. Still say incredible? No, just the people that come on the program, like Tony Dungy and Eric Allen and Brian Westbrook and Jimmy Johnson and almost all the general managers in the league that come on, they're more credible than me. Yes. We just get credible people on the program. I'm an opinion guy. Okay? I'm not a journalist. So if you think that, get that out of your head. You know what journalism means to me? You're an asshole. I'm not a journalist. I'm a talk show host. Talk show hosts aren't journalists. The people that come on are the credible people that bring credibility to my career and to my show. People like Dungy, people like Eric Allen. Pick it. Name a guy that we've had on here. George Foreman. Name a dude. Anybody. General manager of the Steelers. General manager of the Chargers. General manager of the Raiders. Head coach of the Colts. Head coach of the Panthers. Name them. Michael Irvin. I don't know. How could you not consider Zach Bond as a potential defensive player of the year candidate? Has similar stats as Luke Kuechly. He's nowhere near it. Probably Pro Bowl, maybe second or third team All-Pro. That's probably where you're going to see him land. He might land in the top 5 in Defensive Player of the Year award. Big Seals, you make Eagle fans feel like a battered wife. You beat us up all week, then expect us to come back to your show after the torture. We do like a battered wife. I'm not going there with that. Peter, thank you. Wait a minute. I don't beat your team up. I beat your quarterback up because he's not good enough. Where do I beat your team up? You get the greatest O-line in football. Maybe I compared him to the Dallas Cowboy line with Emmett. Your defense has gotten better, I said. Do I have to sit here and pacify you and give you a reach around to make you feel better about yourself? Okay, here. I'll do it one time for you. Here's your daily reach around. I told you this before. The defense came along quicker than I thought. Great. It is. Vic has worked out great. Here, right? Barkley, I couldn't have been more wrong about a guy and his impact on the team. I didn't think he was that good because I never saw that guy in New York. Other than that, I don't know what you're talking about. Your quarterback is not good. And if I indict Jalen Hurts for not being good, that doesn't indict the team. He's not the fucking team, and he's not the reason you're 11-2. If you can't take that, I don't know what else to say to you. Bond now has better stats than Luke's year. JAKIB is king. Love all the shows. Barkley MVP. We keep moving it. Hey, I'll tell you, Jace, I think Barkley, this is an MVP game for him. This is a big MVP game for him. I do. I think that. This is a big-time MVP game. Now, the question is going to be how they handle themselves. Here, we got topics all over the board here. Please hit the like button. All my super chats all go to the top. And by the way, I want you to know something. You know the super chats that you guys send? I don't get a dime of it. And you know what Xander does? He doesn't put that in his pocket. What do you think he does? He puts it in his pocket and goes out and buys Mai Tais? Every single cent goes back into this network that you guys are creating. I want you to understand that. We don't rob you so that we can line our pockets. Okay? That's not what this is. So when you donate shit like that, you don't know that you keep this thing going. Okay? I don't make a cent off the super chats. A cent. There's nothing in my... So when you guys send them all, I get nothing except this, to be able to talk to you tomorrow. So I think all the shit you see on that cross-dressing broad thing and all that other shit, nobody here right now, guess what we're doing? We're down here. We're building up. I'm building this thing up. I know what it's good. I know what I'm a finish line guy, and I'm here with you. So I just want you to know this. So when you say this stuff, you get the super charge, and I don't get a cent of it. That's not how this works. Dude, you're the gasoline that fuels this thing. Okay? Don't think that. Still just so that he can make what? You think I'm chasing $600? I'm chasing 600 million. I don't chase. Hey, you chase pennies? That's what you get. All right. That's what I'm telling you. The last time I'm going to tell you that. Okay? Just so you know, I get nothing. And you know what Joe and Xander do? Every cent. And then their own. Like Elon, that put it back into it. I know this. You know why? I get calls every day. Hey, they want to kill Gavin Newsom for missing Tuesday. For just $2 a day, you can support a Big Sills. I think that's kind of I don't know what that is, but thank you, M. Reyes. All right. All right. Guys, all supers, and please hit the like button. Thank you. All right. Is this a must win on Sunday for the Birds? You're 11-2. Is this a must win? Is this a must win on Sunday? Is this the must win? Bleed says no. B. Costello says yes. Tony, no. Jason, yes. Yes, it is, says Pat. It's a good opponent, so no. I agree, Sills, with Barkley. He needs 125 yards or better, says Richard. Billy Don 23 says yes. Okay? Yes, to silence the noise. Here's a rare winner here from Casey Eagle. Yes, to silence the noise. I'll match M. Reyes. Big Sil. Big Bill Sills. Hey, Maniac. I love Maniac. He's been here from the very beginning. Please, guys, hit that like button. Here's what I say to you. Is it a must win? I think it's a must win because what's going to happen is you're going to feed the energy of negativity. And I'm going to make a point to you. If you lose a ball game on Sunday by 1 point, it won't change my opinion of the Philadelphia Eagles one way or the other. Now, if you get blown out 38-17, that's a different conversation. And Hurts has 5 turnovers. That's a different convo, okay? You get beat by 5 points, 4 points by a good team this late in the year in December. That's not going to sway me on whether or not – dude, this is not college football where you put a poll together every week and you go from 3rd to 7th if you lose a game. That's not how the NFL works. You put all the games together and you go, well, how good are they? You've played 13 ball games. How good are the Eagles? Are they one of the top 2 rosters right now in the NFL and in the NFC? Yes. Is a loss to Pittsburgh on Sunday going to change my opinion of that? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Now, if you're Notre Dame and you get beat by Northern Illinois at home, a 7-win nobody team, my opinion of you is not very high all year long. But if you get beat by the Steelers and a good football team and a well-coached program, that's not going to change my opinion. But it will change the opinion of some when it comes to how the team is perceived. And it will fuel 2023's meltdown. Why do I feel this is going to be like the Bucs again? That would be a problem for me. John, if that team gets blown out like Tampa blew them out, then that's a problem. That means the defense didn't get off the bus. And that's an organizational issue. Then you got a problem. But if you're in a last possession game against Pittsburgh, hey, do you know this? I will be more critical of you the way you played against Carolina than I will the way you play against Pittsburgh if you're in a tight ball game. Pittsburgh's a good team. Don't you see that? The NFL is not a week-to-week proposition on how good you are. The week-to-week is the matchups on whether you can be beat or not, for sure. And I get you're chasing home field. By the way, Detroit has Buffalo this week. They lose that ball game, here you are. You're right there in the mix. This is a big week for the Eagles. On Monday, you could be even with Detroit in Minnesota for a home field advantage. That's how big this weekend is. Opposite of the Bucs game, we weren't healthy then. That has nothing to do with the NFL. Hell, fuck that. Nick is so blinded and excuse-riddled, it's sick. He'll come up with every angle of excuse on why you lose. You lost because you didn't have all your players on the field? Welcome to the NFL. Congratulations, Nick. You figured it out. It's the war of attrition. Way to go. Holy shit. Well, we didn't have all our players. That's not a Buccaneer issue. That's a you issue. That's a you issue. JT Philly becomes a YouTube member. Thank you, brother. Well, we wouldn't have all our... So what? Part of the game. You lost Brandon Graham. Okay? Nick comes up. Nick's looking for excuses why his quarterback sucks and why the team has 2 losses. I don't. Those 2 losses now to me, they don't mean shit to me. Are you good? Yes. Well, they lost to Atlanta in the Bucs. So what? How good are you? How good are you? You're good. You've gotten better. By the way, here's something I'll say to you. The only position that hasn't gotten better since the beginning of the year Think about this. Look at what's gotten better. The running game has gotten better. The defense has gotten better. You're getting more pressure on the quarterback. Your corners are playing better. The only guy that's not playing better is the quarterback. That's the only position not playing better is the quarterback. Hurts worries about wins, not stats. Dude, we're not talking about stats. We're talking about balance. See, that's what, get this. Fuck the stats. I'm talking about balance. You have none. Get this too. Joaquin, your organization is built on statistical analytics. They say it every week to you. When I echo it, you think I'm talking stats. I'm talking analytics from Julian Laurie's office on how they build a game plan. That's what this guy's thinking here. This guy thinks that I'm quoting stats when Frank Reich came on this program and said that the analytics department, actually, we showed you what Frank said about how they go about building their game plan. The analytics department comes down with trends and numbers. They give it to the coaches and they build a game plan off the analytics, which are numbers. That's how they get. So wait a minute. Joaquin calls them stats. Your fucking organization builds an entire game plan off them. They build the game. Frank Reich said it on this show. He won a Super Bowl for you. But when I echo what Frank said on this show, you can't take it. You got to be kidding me, guy. Stats. The analytics department runs your offense. It's why your first quarter blows. Do you know what they do? Do you know what that first quarter, why your first quarter sucks? The first quarter sucks because Nick Kellen want to get the passing game going. So what do? They ask the analytics department what plays will get the passing offense going. And so far, you've scored 2 field goals or 17 points all year, whatever it is. 17 points in the first quarter after 13 ball games. You don't get off the fast starts because why? Analytics say, try this to get the passing game going. They have not been able to get the passing game going all year. How many times that, hey, I'll tell you this about Xander. Xander's a young man in the broadcasting business. You know the question he continually asks every week? Why do they do this? It's simple to me. I know what they're doing. You know what he says? How do they run Barkley 12 yards, 8 yards, 7 yards? Then they throw 2 screen passes and it's 3 and out. That's because they're trying to move the ball through analytics in the first quarter by passing it. Then they go back to their roots and run it. Not talking about you, Sills. I'm talking about the media. I got it, Joaquin. Joaquin, thank you for today. Thank you, brother. I can't thank you enough for being part of this convo, man. Thank you. Dude, we're boys, man. Hey, Sills, this is what I see from Hurts. He's afraid to risk the turnovers here. That's the difference in his play to me. Have Barkley and his mates have probably M from the birds. Let's see, I'm not sure what that means here. Sills, this is what I see from Hurts. He's afraid to make the big mistake and the turnovers. That's the difference in his play. To me, have Barkley, okay, and mates, that's the problem from the birds. Ocean, they want to get that passing game going. They just want to get that passing game going. Please, guys, I appreciate it. Do me a favor. Okay? Hey, Ocean, if you want to put that in a different way the next time, you don't have to drop me a super chat. I'll post it up there. But clean that up for me a little bit. Not the defensive part. I meant how Todd Bowles figures him out. I'm pretty sure Mike knows how he is on film since then. Mike and Todd Bowles are dear friends, and Mike Tomlin worked with Tony Dungy and all those guys down in Tampa with the Tampa 2, that's what you're going to see. You're going to see a Todd Bowles Tampa 2 in Pittsburgh on Sunday. That's exactly what you're going to see. Okay? You're going to see that on Sunday, that Buck defense. Okay? I bet that Barkley eliminate the passing struggles. He has eliminated the passing struggles. Absolutely, Ocean. Yes. Absolutely. Okay? That's absolutely true. What I see in Jalen is when dropping back, instead of looking downfield, he seems to be looking at pass rush. That's what I see. That's because he's setting protections now for the first time. That's what's happened here. Yes. Okay? Yes. We know Jalen can't throw that good, but his combination of play with run and pass is the reason why he wins. Yes, I never said he wasn't a good ball player. He needs to stick to that and don't listen to people who don't like running quarterbacks. Just win. Okay, I said it. You guys asked me, how do you fix it? I continue to run the RPOs. Do what you're doing. Don't change anything. But guess what? We're going to get into a topic here in a minute, what I think might happen on Sunday. Okay? Dude, everybody. Sue gets on my shit, and so does everyone. By the way, all supers go to the top. Please hit that like button. Someone give me a total right now on the likes. Guys, I'm going to say it one more time to you here. Your entire game plan is built off of analytics. Analytics are statistical numbers that formulate a game plan. They always have. They're called trends. Okay? They're called trends. Hey, nobody's talking. I mean, individual passing numbers. I get that's where you're probably looking at. I'm talking team stats are not just numbers. You formulate, hey, I'm going to show you something here. Okay, I'm going to show you something here on what I'm talking about when it comes to the analytics that you have to look, and you tell me identity on a football team. Let's do this offensively first. Okay? And then you tell me if Sue or anybody else, what we're sitting here saying to you, when you guys just say, oh, you're just quoting stats, you tell me if this is who this team is to you. Okay? All right. Put this over here. Let me show you something here. Total offense, the Ravens are number 1 in total offense. They are number 5 in passing, and they are number 2 in rushing. Think about that for a second. They're number 5 in passing and number 2 in rushing. Well, Derrick Henry's having 1,800 yards, and the quarterback's going to throw for 4,500. They throw the ball and they run the ball with the same type of effort in each and every single game. That's kind of what they've done this year. It's who they are. Okay? That's who they are. Eagles at full health on offense are 10-0 so far. That's fantasy football he's talking there. Who fucking is ever 10-0 with full health? What a dumb comment by Nick. Full health, they're 10-0. Welcome to the NFL. Nobody's full health, ever. Stupid. This is a stupid comment. Here, let's take a look at Detroit. Here, total offense, Detroit. Lions are second, 394. Okay? They're 394 offensively. You turn around and look at them and the way they pass the ball, they're 4th in passing. And in rushing, the Lions are 4th. So get this. The Lions are 4th in passing and they're 4th in rushing. And they're second in total offense. So that's kind of what they've done. They got 2 1,500-yard rushers. And they have a quarterback who's going to throw for 4,500. That's kind of how the balance of the offense runs under that offensive coordinator, Johnson. That's what they are. It's what they've done all year. Here's the Eagles now. And again, this is your identity, especially offensively. And get this, this is not stats. This is who you are. Here, total offense. Eagles are 6th. Passing, you're 31st. Rushing, you're 1st. You have the worst pass offense in pro football. And you have the best rush offense in football. That's a far cry from the Lions. Lions have an identity where they spread it around and they're balanced in every way all year long. You don't. You're winning a football game one way right now. Am I wrong? You know, get this. I hear Xander and I hear John and I hear everybody in Philly say this. Well, the Eagles can beat you in multiple ways. No, they can't. Where? Where can they beat you in multiple ways? You haven't beaten anybody multiple ways. That's not who you are. Hey, the names on the back of the jerseys are not equaling production. Are they? Hey, let me ask you this. Do you think this offense is over or underachieved this year? Last Sunday, your quarterback threw for 83 yards with the 4 sacks. That's balance? You ran the ball for, get this guy's trying to tell me that last weekend, your quarterback threw for 83 yards and you ran the ball for 209. That's balance? Do you think the added responsibility for Hurts has slowed down his development a little? Almost like adding weight on the bench. It takes a few reps to get used to the heavy weight and responsibilities. That's a fabulous take, and probably so. Yes. He even made that comment this week. I picked the wrong protection, and that's why I took the sack against Carolina, and it took him out of field position. I was like, wait a minute. This guy's in his 5th year, and he's still learning how to set protections? Dude, Brock Purdy's been setting protection since he was at Cal. I mean, I don't know what else to tell you here. Most quarterbacks have. Sam Darnold knows how to set protections. Jalen Hurts is in the process of learning how to set protections. Okay. Well, it shows. I'll tell you this. Let me ask you something here. Let me ask you something here. The loss of Jason Kelce setting those protections, you're trying to tell me, is he the result of why this offense is 31st? Do you think that's the reason that the offense is 31st, because the responsibility of setting the protection was taken away from Kelce with his retirement and given to Hurts? And that's why he's got more on his plate this year. That's what that guy's take is. I don't know if that's, I don't know how you don't look at that and go, there's something to that at least. I mean, Jason Kelce may not have had anything left at the end of his career last year, and it looks like an upgrade with Cam. But do you think Cam is as good at setting protections as what Jason Kelce in his 15 years on setting those protections? I don't know. I'll tell you what, the added responsibility is a reflection in what the passing offense looks like right now, because it's nowhere. Get this. Guy like Joe Whitt says no. No, that's not the reason. Then what is the reason, Joe? And don't tell me because Barkley's taking the carries away, because that's not true. Ravens and Lions get it done. Isn't it a good thing from the front office? Got the F out of the way and started running the damn ball. I agree with you. Need balance. Absolutely. Devin, thank you. Yes. Run the ball, man. Run more RPOs. Hey, Xander, can you give us Anthony's super chat there? By the way, all supers go. By the way, I'm not going to just say any longer. All supers go to the top. I'm going to say all supers go to JAKIB Sports. Eagles can beat you with defense and running. That's multiple ways. Boy, that Miami education. No, that's not what people say. People say that the Eagles can beat you in multiple ways offensively. You added something I wasn't talking about. How many people have – well, I'll tell you what. If you can't beat people multiple ways with A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith and Saquon Barkley, there's something seriously wrong with your offense. They beat you with defense, and they beat you with running. That's not any remotely – then why are you paying for those wideouts? That's dumb. Hey, Sills, thoughts on WIP radio? It seemed like a cancer to the Eagles team. In what way, Tony? In what way do you think WIP is a cancer to the Eagles? What are they saying? That's anything different than what we're saying. I mean, I don't know. I think there's an issue inside the locker room with AJ not liking the offense. And I think we had a great comment yesterday by one of our fabulous Super Chat people. You know what they said? AJ wants to win, but he wants to win his way. And I agree with that. Sills, I do agree with you about the hiring of Moore. He isn't the best for Hurts, but it's what the Birds needed. Yeah. Get this. Xander goes like this. You were trashing Kellen Moore. Yeah, because I said from day one, he wasn't the right hire. Cliff Kingsbury was for Jalen. But do you know what Kellen did? Kellen's saving his job right now. If he fails, he'll never get another coordinating job. Someone's going to ask, you never improved the quarterback. Quarterback wasn't good enough. They're 11-2 and won 9 consecutive ball games. That's what he gets to point at you. Remember what Jimmy Johnson said on this program about good coordinators? Some coordinators put up a lot of stats and a lot of numbers. Some coordinators win ball games. That's what this is right now. Kellen Moore went into the bye week and said, we've got to limit these turnovers, which means we're going to hand the ball more to Barkley. And Barkley is on a historic run to go for 2105, Eric Dickerson's 40-year rushing record. This is not rocket science. Okay? Get this, here. This guy's thrown the ball 100 yards in the last 3 weeks. And he's got the worst pass offense of any contending team in the league. His 2 wide receivers are in the 50s in targets. And he's throwing 8 yards a play. And he'll throw for 3,200 yards this year. And 19 touchdowns. Why are you paying him $50 million? I'd get any stiff to do that. Shit, I get Sam Darnold to do that. Just joking with you, Sills. But my point valid. Anthony, that's how, because Anthony, you're not wrong. That's how they're winning right now. Because that you named the identity. Run the ball, play defense. Okay. That is the formula. I don't get why the offensive passing game is gone backwards. It's absolutely disintegrated right in front of you. How in the world? Okay? How in the world? Okay? How in the world do you look at what you've done in the offseason and think hey, let me ask you this. Let's ask this guy his. Hey, look, this guy is mad at me for pointing out facts. Typical 1% Eagle fan that doesn't like to hear the truth. That's okay, kid. All good. I don't give a shit what you think. Don't. Oh, really? You're that upset about me, huh? Thank you for doing this for me. Hey, folks, watch this. So Philly Matt decided to come in here, log on to my show, and type all this shit here. I love it. Okay. Let's see. Lord's Grace. With Kellen Moore, you are guaranteed 11 to 13 wins. He did the same thing in Dallas. Prescott would have 5,000 yards in this offense because he's more set up for that. He's not talking to you, Sills. That's what Xander just said. I got you, Hoss. All good. Hard sometimes with all the people that keep – this thing moves. Eagles find a way to win. Offense stalls. The defense picks them up. The defense stalls. Offense picks them up. The offense doesn't pick them up. Saquon Barkley picks them up, which Hurts has nothing to do with it. Okay? Oh, well, I'll take that back. When he runs the ball. Okay? Got you, brother. My mistake. Apologize. Philly. Apologize, brother. National Catch These Hands show. The National cry for another excuse. M. Ray is post. He'll come up with 48 more. Well, my guy Hurts. The Eagles are going to win 66-3. Sileo's wrong about my quarterback. Since he's been saying it for 3 years, he was a one-year wonder. Hey, I called your boy a one-year wonder, and he is. Oh, bang. I forgot. He's right again. Hashtag Big Sills right again. Bang. Big Sills right again. One-year wonder. Hey, there should be a song. It's called the Jalen Hurts One-Year Wonder. And wonder why. The one-year wonder. Oh, man. This guy's a one-year wonder. Holy shit. I like the one-year wonder. Xander will join us at 3:30. Then we will have Battle Royale at 4:30. The legendary Philly 500 and Mark Holmes. And then we'll have Philly Godfather at 5:30. How you doing? See here now. Yes. All right. Next topic. Next topic here. One-year wonder. Jalen Hurts. Oh, shit. Can't deny it. How you doing? Hey, get this. Hey, let me ask you this, guys. You think Sam Darnold could go 11-2 with this offense? He's 11-2 in Minnesota. With Jordan Addison and Justin Jefferson. Do you think he could do the same shit in Philly? How many people think Sam Darnold could do the same stuff in Philly that he's doing in Minnesota right now? I'm awake. You says no. Why? What's different? What has Jalen done this year that's anything remotely close to what Sam Darnold's done? What in the world? Oh, wait. Senor just made a great point. Not with Nick and Moore. Look at Xander. Xander's like, Sam Darnold go 12-1. Sills, I'm a bit late to the show. Did you talk? Did you talk about the LB for the Niners quitting on the team last night? Absolutely, Gabe. That was horrific. That's a culture issue it's a Kyle Shanahan issue. If you want to kick Nick around for some of the shit that went out with AJ and Hurts, a guy quitting to play on Sundays, that's a huge issue. That is a huge issue. I actually like that topic. Sam Darnold with the Eagles would be what? He's 11-2. He's outplayed Hurts this year. Real question, Sills. Maybe is Jalen's formula different from other quarterbacks? So can he win a Super Bowl throwing for 150 yards? Running for 50? Your thoughts? Anthony, and are you saying Barkley gets another 150? Can they win a Super Bowl with that formula? Hey, Anthony, I think it comes down to the defense. If the defense can shut the opposing team down, they can win with that. Really, the key for you to win the Super Bowl this year is your defense still, because your offense is not going to get better. It's not. Let's take a look at that for a minute. It's a great question, Anthony. It actually is a fair question. Okay? It's a really good one. Not going to deny it. Listen, we have a lot of fun here, but I'm not going to answer truthfully. So let's take a look at this here. It's a great question. Okay? Here, get this. Well, Justin Jefferson versus A.J. Brown. I'll take Justin Jefferson. Addison versus Devontae. Well, right now this year, I would take Addison. I wouldn't take Devontae. Devontae's a non-factor on your team. Let's take a look at Minnesota here. So Minnesota's sitting at 11-2. There's nothing different than what they've done. They've got some really good wins on their record too this year in what they've accomplished. And by the way, do I really believe it's Sam Darnold? No, I don't know. I used to say emphatically, no way. But dude, look at this. Sam Darnold. 4,400 yards passing he's trending towards. With 37 touchdowns, 108 quarterback rating, 68% completion percentage. I mean, this guy's on pace for 4,400 yards. And then you look at Jefferson, and you look at where they are. By the way, I'm actually shocked that the second leading rusher on the Vikings is Sam Darnold. And here's Justin Jefferson already has 1,100 yards receiving and 75 receptions. This is incredible. So Justin Jefferson's going to have another 100-catch year with Sam Darnold. Sam Darnold. Hey, look, I know you guys don't want to hear this, but there is no question that the Eagles missed on a generational talent with Justin Jefferson. So did the teams that didn't pick him before. There's other teams that didn't get Jefferson either, but he's going to have 1,600 yards this year on 140 targets this season. And he averages 16 yards a catch. How about the other guy? Addison. You mean to tell me that Sam Darnold made Addison better? I mean, this is incredible. So wait, Jordan Addison here. That's the kid that played at Pitt, right? Then went to SC. He's going to get 1,000 yards and 60 catches this year. He's the equivalent of Devontae Smith. They should get rid of McCarthy and keep Darnold. That's why Sam Darnold's going to be one of the most sought-after free agents. He's only got a one-year deal up there. They don't own options on him. Sam Darnold's got a one-year contract in Minnesota. If I were the Niners, am I paying Brock Purdy $55 million or $60 million more than Dak? Or do I bring that guy back knowing full well if I coached him better, I could get the same result that Brock Purdy's giving me now at a $45 million less than $60 million rate. I could say $15 million. Okay? I got it. They cut him. And now he's in the MVP conversation. Hey, and for the record, look at the balance Minnesota has. Look at what Aaron Jones has brought to the table. Aaron Jones was the guy that was whacked in Green Bay, and now he's on pace for 1,200 yards. So get this. In Minnesota with Sam Darnold quarterback, and you're going to have two 1,000-yard receivers and a 1,000-yard back. The same bullshit that's going on the previous 2 years in Philly, but it's Sam Darnold. And can somebody do me a favor? Hey, by the way, Last Cup podcast says he's not Barkley. Well, they've got a more complete, balanced offense than you. He's not Barkley? No one said he was. But you got two 1,000-yard receivers, and you've got 1,000-yard, 1,200-yard back and a 4,400-yard passing quarterback. I mean, that's all you have is Barkley. Your receivers are in the 50s in targets. Find, release, OBJ, Eagles take a flyer. Anthony, I said it. I'd like to have him as my number 3 guy. I don't have a problem. League minimum. He's got to clear waivers, though. I think that's Monday. Okay? I mean, I think that's Monday he clears waivers. Like I said, Sam Darnold's outplaying Jalen this year by far, and he's got 11 wins. And they're spreading the ball around. Okay? I mean, they're spreading it around. And here's something else to think about. Their defense is played lights out this year. Dude, I'm just telling you. Okay? Right? Hey, get this, man. This is some of the news coming out of San Francisco right now. That was some shit. That was some sucker shit. Probably going to get cut soon. Ward on teammate Campbell after leaving the game in the third quarter because he didn't want to play. You got all kinds of issues right now going on in San Francisco. That's a culture issue, to say the least, on what's going on there. Okay? Thank you, Wayne. Appreciate that. Guys, let's get that up to 200. Love to see if we can get that. Darnold's not going to make $50 million. Hey, by the way, will somebody tell me something? How much is Sam Darnold making this year on a one-year deal? They just signed J.J. McCarthy. You really believe that they're not going to put J.J. McCarthy back in as the starting quarterback? He was earmarked to be the starting quarterback this season in Minnesota. You really believe that they're going to put him in? They're going to take that first-round pick and the front office is just going to eat it? You know what they're in the position of? They're almost in the same position of Carson Wentz and Nick Foles. You got a guy who's leading you someplace, but you're going to make the wrong decision again. J.J. McCarthy will start. He'll start. Wow, Flex. They really gave JT, they really gave him $10 million? That's a shocker. I thought it would have been a little lower than that. So you got a quarterback up there that's 11-2 and having a career year, and it seems they coached the bullshit out of him. And right now, they're in as good. Hey, how about this? Minnesota is just as good a position to win home field advantage as you are. Okay? They're in just as good a position. Think about where they are right now, Minnesota. I mean, take a look at the standings where they are right now. So they're sitting at 11-2. Let's see what they have on their schedule here remaining. Shit, Detroit's got to play Buffalo this week. Here's who Minnesota has. So Minnesota they have Chicago this weekend. They got a tough game against Seattle. They got Green Bay and Detroit. That's a tough finish. Chicago, Seattle, Green Bay, and Detroit. Wow. Is that a tough finish? I'll take that back. Philly's in a better position. Philly's in a better position than Minnesota. I'll take that back. There's losses on there towards the end. I'll take that back. You're right, Victor. They're not winning all those games. No way at all are they winning those. No way. Here's something to think about also with their defense and what Brian Flores has done with their defense this season. He's done a phenomenal job with their defense, especially points against in what they've done. In total defense, Vikings sitting at 17th. They got some injuries too. Pass defense, this is pretty much where they have struggled. They're down at the bottom of the league. Rush defense, they're second in football. They actually have a better rush defense. But again, most teams are passing on them. That's always a skewed line, but the Vikings are 6th in points allowed. They're giving the same amount of points up that the Eagles are. They're giving 18 points a game up, and you guys are a little tick over, and you guys are giving 18 points a game up. Okay? I mean, Brian Flores has done a great job at red zone and keeping them out of the defense. Okay? Ravens was first in run defense. How'd that go? They held you under your career year numbers. It went well, actually. They outrushed you. Would you have 130? You usually average 190 yards a game. Just to be perfect on that, like I said, let's see here. Let's see what you did in that game. You didn't outrush them, and they held you under all of your that game. The Ravens held you under every single number that was what you were trending on. They held you under every single. Let's see here. The Philadelphia. There we go. Yeah, they held you under every number. I'm not talking about Lamar rushing. I'm talking about your rushing. I mean, you're making it sound like 240 yards of total offense was good. I missed that one. Oh, really? I'm talking about your rushing. You were held to lower points, lower passing, lower rushing, third down, total yards. You averaged 400 yards in total offense. You had 240 in that game. You talk about the Ravens. How about you? I love how everybody goes, well, the Eagles killed. You didn't kill them. I didn't say you didn't win. But don't sit there and tell me that how the rush defense, they did a nice job on you. The Eagles are good. Ravens are good. Henry had 90 yards in the game. I don't know what else to say. Really, every single fucking statistic and analytics that you guys had in that ball game, you were held under your season averages. Everything, passing, rushing, everything. Yeah, okay. You did a great job in the game. Okay, let's just move on. I'm not debating whether or not you played great in that ball game or not. Your quarterback shit the bed again in that. It was Barkley again in the defense and the O-line. That was great in that game. Okay? And again, you're held. Hey, Sue. Here's Sue again. Why don't you tell Julian Laurie to stop sending down the analytics then? And then I'll stop bringing them up. Fair? When Nick stops saying analytics builds our game plan, how about this, Sue? I'll stop saying it. Fair? Here, we got a deal. All right? When your Eagle organization stops using analytics, I'll stop doing that. Every week, Nick brings it up. Data. Why we go for it, why we don't. Your organization is based off of analytics. Trends are analytics. Like I tried to explain to people like Sue and everyone, you get a percentage book. Do you understand this? You get a percentage book. You open up your playbook and your game plan on Tuesday, and you look down and you see what plays the Steelers are going to run. The top 20 plays that the Steelers like to run, and you'll see a number to the right. They like to run this play 42% of the time with single back. They like to run this formation with no backs. They like to run this with shotgun. They like to run this with under center. And you'll see a number to the right. And you know what they get that off of? The last 3 games and then the entire season. And that's why you have people that work in the analytics department that put all these numbers together. Like Julian Laurie's office has more to do with the information of putting the game plan together than actually the coaches do. So wait a minute. You know, when a coach puts a game plan together, they've got the game plan. Where do you think Nick Sirianni is during the week? You think Nick Sirianni is worrying about who do the Eagles have next week? Who do the Eagles have next week? What team do they have next week? Like, do you think the Eagles are working on a game plan for next week? Okay, so they have Washington next week. Now, that helps because they're an NFC East opponent, and you know pretty much who they are. But do you actually think they have worked any game plan for Washington? Or do you think they're centric on everything Pittsburgh this week right now? Who do you think right now is putting the game plan together? I hate to have to school you guys like children, but who do you think is putting the game plan together for the Commanders next week right now? You know who that is? That's Julian and his people. They're putting the game plan together and the analytics that they'll hand Nick on Sunday. And then Monday, they'll start formulating a game plan based off the intel that Julian's office gave them. That's how stats work, Sue. You're welcome. That's how it works. Do me a favor, guys. Hit the like button here. We got Battle Royale at 4:30. Good Godfather. That'll be at 5:30. Also, Army, Navy. I want to get his thoughts in on that. But all that being said, boy, I'll tell you what, man. I love it when I listen to Birds 365. And you know what? I'm starting to hear a little bit this week. You know, I don't know. You know, maybe quarterback. You know, man. Well, there you go. Hey, how about this? Sam Darnold's out playing your boy Jalen Hurts. I get a text from my wife. Stop goading these people, man. I mean, stop doing that, man. My wife hears me. She's like this. She's like, don't tell the truth. Remember what happens when you tell the truth. People get angry when you tell the truth. Xander gets mad when I bring up 4,600 yards and 35 touchdowns. This guy's going to throw for 3,200 yards and 19 touchdowns. Oh, fuck. Bryson Daly. Hey, all right. By the way, Army-Navy this weekend, too. Make sure you check that game out. Give them great ratings. Those are the men and women that fight for our country, man. I love that game. It's the most Americana game you could possibly have. I just absolutely love that game. Make sure you support it. I love the fact they give them their own Saturday, too, so that everyone can watch that game. I've been to 8 of those bad puppies. Absolutely one of the greatest. All right. Without further ado, he is the man who is the co-host of Birds 365. He is the man that makes this bad. Hey, by the way, he doesn't drink martinis with your super chats. This guy ain't drinking martinis, okay? And Kate May, all right? That's not what he does. I told you this. I don't get a cent of it. You know what this does? This goes back to you. We reinvest in you because you make this bad puppy work. You understand that, right? Every single guy that's on this network right now has invested their efforts and the Krauses their money to keep this going. That's why people hate it. And I love this kid sometimes. He is the host of Birds 365 with the great John McMullen, the #1 Eagle beat reporter. John's getting a little nasty. I hear more F-bombs out of him than me actually now. He is our friend, Big Z, Xander Krause.
What's going on, Big Cells?
Am I right when I'm hearing more F-bombs coming out of John McMullen?
You are certainly right about the F-bombs coming out of John McMullen. They have ramped up to a new level. Although we were a little quiet today on F It Friday is what we like to call it. Fuck it Friday. But you are right about one thing with the super chats where that they all go back into the account or all go back into the channel. But what do you mean you don't get any? You get the Big Sills is the wizard gets in there every Friday. Thing hits auto and Big Sill. What's he think that money falls from the fucking sky? I mean, what does he think? I don't get any super chat. What do you mean?
It's there.
Things on Auto Depot, dude. Things on Auto Dip.
It's how I get paid. I guess I mean, but I don't, but you should hear these guys. Hey, Tuesday.
You know what else they did go for, though? All right, I'm going to read you something. This is what I'm looking at. This is what people are calling it this, all right? Xander Claus, okay? This is what the super chats really go for outside of Big Sills. So this is what we're up to on what I'm looking to give away on the big JAKIB blowout. Are you ready for this, Sills?
Yeah, I want to see it.
It's going to be. I'm going to read a list because I don't have everything yet, but I'm getting a big dose.
I'm a merch guy, dude. I'm a merch guy. I love merch, man.
Yeah, well, the people love merch too, and the Eagles merch that I got is sick. I'm giving away upwards of 10 plus jerseys. So right now I got 2 Cooper DeJean, I got a Dawkins, I got AJ Brown, I got 2 Quinyons, 2 Jalen Hurtses, I got 2 coming, hopefully, of the Princess Diana jackets. Those are tough to come by, but I think I got the connection to get me 2 of them. 10 hoodies. 10 Eagles hoodies, the Salute to Service hoodies, and the Eagles jacket hoodies. I got 10 to 15 beanies. So I'm looking at a bit, and we got tickets, and maybe even I might give away as a grand prize the painting that I've showed the people before, the Jalen Hurts painting. So we're looking at a big JAKIB Palooza.
I would like this. I'm working on a Bednarik jersey.
You get me anything, man. We're giving it to the people. We're giving it to the people.
I'm working on that Bednarik jersey, man. I want one of the
we do need a Xander Claus emoji, especially after the big live stream, JT. I'm looking for you got it. There's only a couple rules. There's not going to be many rules on what you got to do to win. You got to be present. You got to be a member on JAKIB, and there's going to be one other rule that doesn't cost you a penny, and it's very easy to do. And I'll tell you more about that in the future.
All right, guys, please hit the like button here. Let's get into this stuff here now. All right, Xander, before we get into Sunday's game, are you paying Brock Purdy after what you see Sam Darnold doing in Minnesota?
What's going on with that guy? Brock Purdy is a shell of himself. He doesn't look the same anymore.
Are you paying him more than Dak, $60 million?
Nah, no way. I'd rather have Darnold.
Me too.
I'd rather have Darnold. In fact, I told you in the chat, I'd rather if I'm Minnesota, I don't know if I'm letting Darnold walk. I know he's going to be a free agent, but what are you expecting to get with JJ McCarthy? Let me ask you this: would you be thrilled if JJ McCarthy became Sam Darnold right now?
Right now, yeah.
Thrilled. So you already have the guy.
Yeah.
You already got the guy.
And I think he's 25.
Yeah, yeah, he's old. He was in college forever, wasn't he? Let's check his age.
No. I think Darnold's 25.
Oh, no, JJ's young. Yeah, JJ's 21. He was the young one. Who was the old guy that came out of college last year? Bo Nix. That's what I was thinking.
Bo Nix was on a GI Bill. I think he's 30. I mean, this guy's ready for it.
Yeah, Darnold's 27. Darnold's 27.
Okay, Darnold's 27. You got another 10 years with that guy.
Yeah. Yeah, give yourself another 4. Shit. I mean, just get the contract on the first contract. But yeah, I don't know what's happened to Purdy. I think Nad's in here. Nad's in here. He agrees. Yeah, I think Nad's out on Purdy too. Listen, I like Purdy, but it does now look like everything got to be good around him, or else it's not going to work out. He's a system guy. He's probably told, where to get the ball to most of the time with Kyle Shanahan's offense. And once you take that away, it doesn't look very good. By the way, how about Deebo Samuel? I mean, we act like A.J. Brown's his big diva. That dude, not only does he diva it out like crazy, but then when he does get the freaking ball, he can't hold on to it. Like, yo, dude, go find the bench.
Long too, man.
Go find the bench.
Hey, dude, I'll tell you what. There's a point in me that wants to say this. You're lucky you got a guy like AJ that doesn't go off the rails like the way you see Deebo. And, dude, even Brandon Ayuk went off the rails. I mean, Stephon Diggs in the playoffs last year went off the rails. I mean,
I love a 49ers downfall. I got to be honest.
Well, you're watching it right now, and it's on display. By the way, don't get pissed off at the 49ers defense. They're third in total defense right now, and they held that Rams offense. What they held them to 12 points? Don't get pissed off at them last night. They didn't do anything wrong. That's that offense that couldn't move the chains last night, because there's no question, Xander, I think the 49ers are a lot like the Eagles in a way. You take Christian McCaffrey off that offensive huddle, they are nowhere.
We were successful before Saquon.
You take Barkley off that Eagle offense, you're nowhere.
I don't agree because of our offensive line.
Are you trying to suggest that the 49ers don't have the best left tackle in pro football?
He didn't play last night, and he's up there, but he's not anymore.
He's 36. The guy probably
he's not the best left tackle in football anymore.
The guy in Detroit's probably the best right now. Or Jordan, who we love.
Yeah, I would say Mailata. The guy who's their left tackle in Detroit, Decker?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's good. The right tackle in Detroit is really insane.
Their offensive line right now is absolutely great up in Detroit. All right.
Yeah, I just mean the Eagles were successful before Saquon. I'm not saying that he hasn't added, obviously, to it and made this team more dynamic this year in terms of the run, but I think we would be not okay, but a different team, but we would still have some level of success without Saquon.
So you think they're going to turn it back on again?
Not until I see it. No, I don't. I mean, I'm not gonna assume that they're going to turn it back on. Now, I will be cognizant of the fact that what we've done to this point has worked. Now, how well it work in the playoffs, that's another conversation. And I think it's fair to think one way or the other. It's fair to say this team will find the way to win when it's the playoff game and they're behind, because they haven't been in that situation yet. So you can assume that they're not, or you can assume they're going to. Take your pick. It doesn't really matter. Either way, you're assuming. But they got the weapons, don't they? They got AJ. I mean, they got the weapons. They got everything they need. So if Jalen Hurts can just see the field a little bit better, and I think he will. That's an assumption. I hope he will, for fuck's sake. He better, right? I mean, good night.
So the week of drama has been what to you as we come to Friday here? What is it, or is it yet to be played out because we have to wait until Sunday?
We got to wait till Sunday. But I would say right now that I'm a couple days removed from it.
Nick says it's over with. They put it in the rear view on Wednesday.
Oh, yeah, we'll see about that when they come out first 3 plays and go to A.J. Brown. But which I won't be mad at. But I think it has a chance to be a positive for this team. I think it has a chance to take something that you don't think was going to be good enough in the playoffs and get ahead of it right now. Even if they can't get I'm not trying to get them to top 10. I'm trying to get them to better, marginally better, and showing that they're more efficient in the passing game and more, really, it's more volume. I mean, I know everyone's like, well, we have Saquon, we don't need a pass. I mean, you need a pass. Okay. It's football. You need a fucking pass. Anybody that says you don't
NFL, you don't need to pass in college.
You need a pass. Okay. So let's get that going a little bit. And once I start to see a little bit more, I think that the optimism will return. But right now we got to see it. I mean, this is a team that I would say by most metrics offensively has underperformed this year. I know Saquon's exciting, but when you look at the talent we have, the players that we have, the offensive line, the weapons we have at wide receiver, it's to say it's not underwhelming, I think, is an understatement for any fan. And I think most fans that are real can admit that to themselves while also acknowledging how successful we've been to this point. It's okay to think two things are true. We've been tremendously successful. Saquon Barkley's an unbelievable football player. He's completely changed this team, but we cannot be the 31st best passing team in the NFL.
Not with Smitty and AJ.
No, that's what I mean. You don't have the luxury of saying, "Oh, this is the way we're built." Well, it's not really.
Yeah, they're not built like that.
You have a better tandem of receivers than maybe any team in the league,
for sure.
So you got to be better there. It's okay to acknowledge that, I think, and maybe there's a little bit of eagle green glasses still on, and that I think that they're going to get there, but I got no reason to. I mean, shit, I'm not selling yet. Mama ain't raised no quitter.
Nick sold on him.
No, he didn't.
He didn't pass on him and move out him and put in Tua. Nick Saban passed on him.
I thought you were talking about Nick Sirianni.
Oh, no. Nick Saban passed on him.
He's a different player.
Oh, and same issues. All right. Hey, I'm going to make this point to you about Barkley.
You're right. It is the same issues.
Here, I'm going to make this point to you about Barkley. Barkley's a true leader on that team to me. You know why? He's a guy who's saying nothing in that locker room. And all of this is about him.
Yeah, that's because he's ducking in the corner like, hey, don't look at me. All these problems on the offense, nobody look at me.
Yeah. Get this. Everyone is aggravated and upset with the way the passing offense goes. And you said it on Monday. You may have said it on Sunday. Wait a minute. You're fucking 11-2. You got 9 wins in a row, and you're moaning. And one of our great super chatters, by the way, all supers go to the top. We appreciate everybody. One of them said it perfectly. AJ wants to win. I completely agree with that. But AJ wants to win his way. AJ don't want to win Barkley's way. And I think that's true.
Okay, well, what's a better way to win the Super Bowl? AJ's way or Barkley's way?
According to AJ, his way.
No, I'm not asking according to AJ. I'm asking according to
me? Oh, it's Barkley.
For the Eagles or for the NFL?
Dude, you're winning the games right now. You have to find yourself.
Yeah, but all right. So you're saying it's a better way to win for the Eagles, not for the NFL.
Right. No,
okay.
Right. You can't change. You formed your identity. This is what you are. See, the thing you said 2 minutes ago, I think they're going to flip a switch. They're going to put it. They're not doing any of that. You're 13 games into the season. You got 4 games left after Sunday. Bro, you're not doing anything different.
I know.
This is what it is.
Just get them in rhythm. Look, here's a super that's worth reading right now because it's about the topic. Joe, appreciate it. He says, I'm not sure we need more volume passes. What about more efficient? First quarter passes are non-productive. Well, Joe, if it's not volume and it's all about efficiency for you, he's completing 72% of his passes. He's got no turnovers. It is efficient. It's just not good. Efficient and effective are 2 different things. Okay? You can be efficient and get the ball to people and it not make an impact on the game. We're not going for that. We need effective passing game. We need to alter the course of the game by being able to get A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith involved. To me, that means more volume. I don't care how fit. You could have the most efficient 4 passes in the world to A.J. Brown. That's not enough.
It's not enough.
I don't care if they're 35 yards a catch. You need to get more catches for A.J. Brown.
Hey, Joe, on top of that, people like to throw the QBR that he's ranked in the top 10. Dude, Jameis Winston's got a better QBR. Sam Darnold's got a better QBR. So when you start using those metrics like that, I'm not talking about individual statistics. I'm talking about team analytics in what you're doing right now. Your targets are way down from a year ago per game. Your passing offense has completely gone. I would make this point to you. Your passing offense is as bad as it was in 21.
Yeah, it is. It's graded that way. Certainly. I showed you the grades the other day. In many ways, it's lower than 21.
Yeah. This is the worst he's been since he's
So you don't blame any of that. I know Jalen hasn't been great. Look, I'm acknowledging this is probably Jalen's most inconsistent season throwing the ball since his first year starting. But are you not putting any of that on Kellen Moore? This guy was supposed to come in here and fucking turn this offense.
No, that's a Howie hire. Hired the wrong guy.
I don't know if it was a Howie hire. According to John, it was a Nick hire. But you're probably right. I think it's what you said. They gave you a list of 5 names and say you can pick one of these 5.
They wanted Cliff Kingsbury. They had a 3-year contract on the table with him, and he went to Washington because he had more say. And again,
he wanted a bunch of say, and the Eagles don't do that.
Hey, and by the way, one of them was Stoutland in there, and I'm not doing that.
I don't think Stoutland, but I think that was the cover-up.
No. He got more, probably then it was more say in Washington.
Yeah, I think that was
to run his own ship.
That's why I said it was the cover-up. Yeah, he wanted some say in the quarterback's coach and all those other things. And
everyone wants to blame Nick. Well, Jesus criminy, Brian Johnson, Nick Sirianni at the beginning of the whole thing. How many of these guys are you going to go through blaming? And now you're blaming a guy who's 11-2 with 9 straight wins, and you're going, this guy sucks as a coordinator.
That's what you're doing to Jalen Hurts, though.
And you're probably going to win home field advantage. Wait a minute. Whoa.
But that's what you're doing to Hurts.
Wait a minute. I said day 1 he was the wrong guy.
Yeah, I know, but you're going off the success.
He's doing what's best for the team. Dude,
You're
he's
going off
not.
to success. Look, Mad Max is my boy. All right, he joined the show the other day. You would like Mad Max. All right, he thinks the quarterback is a total and complete and utter stiff. He was great on the show the other day when he joined.
Well, then you and I would get along, Mad Max.
Nah, he's cool. Yeah, he's a cool dude. He checks in and says, Kellen Moore cannot play QB. Why are we blaming Moore when there was receivers running open all over the field? So Mad Max, has Jalen developed new deficiencies? Because why was the passing game so much better in 22 and 23?
Because there were 10 times more RPOs run then.
All right, but you still got more out of your passing game by doing that. So how is that not an indictment slightly on Kellen Moore?
They're doing that. They're going back now. You see way more RPOs.
All right, it took you 14 weeks.
By the way, no. Well, here's how you know that that's not working and how he can't, and he's showing more deficiencies. Look at the first 20 plays in the first quarter. You suck out loud in the first quarter because you want to.
Yeah,
you said this to me. You go like this: 12 yards for Barkley, 8 yards, 5 yards, then two flare passes, and you go like this, 3 and out. And you're like, holy shit, they just ended a drive because they did something dumb by not sticking to it. And I'm like, that's them trying to spread people out. And do you understand, Xander, that Jalen Hurts picks these plays out himself during the week also? You know that, right?
Yeah, I mean, he's got to have some say in it, right? Sure enough brings up a good point there. They didn't really use the RPO last year.
No, they didn't use it at all last year.
And they were graded way higher in the pass game.
Yeah, and they were third in turnovers, and he was like.
Listen, I know everybody's excited about Saquon. Right now, I would make this proclamation. Brian Johnson was infinitely better than Kellen Moore has been in Philadelphia. Way better. Way better. For this team, with this quarterback, with this setup, with these players,
okay,
Brian Johnson was way better.
You feel better with Brian Johnson's chances of winning a Super Bowl than you do this year with Kellen Moore?
I think Brian Johnson played to the strengths of his players better.
Isn't that wait a minute? That's what Moore's doing now.
Well, not really. Because Jalen was a better. That's not true. Jalen was a better passer last year.
Wait a minute. Wait. Oh, you're right. Okay. Way better passer. I wouldn't think third and turnovers is a better passer. I would make this point to you. You just said it. He's playing to the strengths of his players better. How are they not playing to the strength of the players better? The strength of the team is Barkley, not Hurts. That's the thing people can't get over in Philly. They can't not say that because the quarterback has to be the essential centerpiece, and he's not. That's
okay. So the running game improved. Great. The passing game completely deteriorated.
And you're 11-2.
All right. If you think that's good for Kellen, if you think Kellen Moore deserves a medal for saying, "Hey, Saquon Barkley,"
I think Kellen Moore deserves a medal for the fact that he realized the quarterback can't take him home. That's what's happened.
Yeah, but he's diminished the passing game in the same way. In a way, it's never been diminished before.
Look at the wins. How do you dispute the wins then?
Well, you're a better football team than others. You got a number one defense in the NFL. Does that not have anything to do with the wins?
Here's the one thing they're doing differently this year than they did last year. Last year, you know what they did? They didn't get away from stopping. They should have stopped running. They should have stopped throwing the ball last year.
All right, let me ask you this. What would be a better offense? This year's offense, the way it's constructed now and what you've seen through 13 games, or the 2023 offense with the addition of Saquon Barkley?
I don't know how Brian Johnson and Nick would have handled that with Barkley because now
DeAndre Swift had well over 1,000 yards.
Yeah, but he ain't Barkley.
That's my point.
Okay. Well, my point is that Moore, dude, once again, I told you when a guy was initially hired day one, he's the wrong guy because he's not going to he's not going to bring in the Dak Prescott offense. What he's going to do is he's going to tailor an offense, like you said, Xander.
I think that's what he's trying to do.
He's tailored the offense to the skill of the people in the huddle. And people don't like it, like AJ. They want to win their way, not that way.
That's fine. I just don't think I don't think the passing offense. I don't think there's any explanation for how it's
He's made it worse for sure. But what's the objective here for the offensive coordinator? To bring stats in or to win games?
It's to win games. It's the same thing you said at 10-1 though last year.
No, last year there was more on Hurts, and he was the centerpiece a year ago. Look at the guy's numbers. A.J. Brown's numbers last year. He broke all kinds of records in Philadelphia for pass receiving, and it got you dick. This year you got a running game, and you know what's happening? And my fear is that last week the Panthers showed you something, and I also think Baltimore showed you something here. 209 yards rushing wasn't almost enough to win. Teams are rolling up on this now, and figuring out that passing game is completely inept. This is where your boy Moore and Kellen are going to have problems going into the playoffs because, dude, Carolina's got the 4th pick in the draft. They have no talent on that team. They have no talent. And Philadelphia made them look like they were a team outside the bubble fighting for a playoff spot. And why did they do that? Because they have one way. Dude, people keep telling me the Eagles have multiple ways of beating you offensively. No, they don't. No, they don't. You got names on the back of the jerseys of what you're reading. You're not seeing what's happened this year because you're not looking at who they are. They can't beat you multiple ways. They haven't beat you multiple ways, but yet people are still going, they got Devontae and AJ. No shit. Why haven't they used it all year? Detroit, Ravens, all the teams that are balanced do it. Why can't the Eagles? The quarterback.
I know, but the passing game fell. Why are you the passing game fell off a cliff? Yes or no?
Completely.
Okay, and the
running
running game got better. Okay, good.
He got worse last year.
All I'm saying to you is Kellen Moore. You guys are saying Kellen Moore has done great because he's improved the running game. We added Saquon Barkley. The running game is going to be improved with Saquon Barkley no matter what. Okay, now there's two sides of the offense: running and passing. The passing game has completely deteriorated.
He's not good enough. He's not good enough.
I think you're missing what I'm saying. I'm
not missing what you're saying. They're sticking with the one thing they know wins games. That's all they're doing here.
They were a big running team.
They tried it in 23 on putting the ball in the hands of the quarterback, and he was third in turnovers and took 36 sacks.
So 2 weeks ago, you told me, what is Kellen Moore
done? He's not the right guy from day one.
Yeah, well, he's not. And I'm telling you why he's done an awful job.
But at least he's winning, and he's doing the right thing.
Ryan Johnson was winning too.
Not like, wait a minute. So you feel better about last year's team than you do this year's team?
It's a different. I'm talking about the offense.
Okay, do you feel better about winning a championship with this offensive team or last year's offensive team?
Last year's with Saquon Barkley?
No. That's not reality. Do you feel better about last year's team that you got boat raced by the Bucs or this year's team that potentially can win you a Super Bowl? What team do you feel better offensively with that could maybe win you a Super Bowl?
Well, the offense was top 10 in everything last year.
I asked, hey, man, I get you want to dance around. You sound like Nick now. Do you feel better about – so you feel better about last year's team that could win you a Super Bowl than this year's group?
I'm not talking about the team. We went from the number – well, listen, stop. We went from the number 31st ranked defense to the number 1. When you talk about a team, defense, that has a bigger impact than anything.
That's not what I asked you. I asked you, do you feel better about last year's offense? Okay? Last year's offense to win you a championship versus this year's offense to win you a championship. What offense do you feel better gives you the best opportunity to win a title?
Last year's. We're the 31st passing offense in the league.
Last year's when you got boat raced by the Bucs in the playoffs. Okay.
How are you leaving out so much context?
No, I'm not, because I'm asking you explicitly a question about last year's offense and this year's offense.
But you're not.
What am I leaving out?
Teams.
No. I'm asking you, what unit do you feel better with going into the playoffs offensively? The team that's running people off the field right now and you're killing teams offensively by running the football, and you're beating Baltimore. You're beating Washington. You're killing Cincinnati.
Why do we beat Baltimore?
I asked you about an explicit question about an offense. So you feel better about a team last year that was third in turnovers versus a team where a guy's protecting the ball and they're running it at a clip right now, where they're the number one rushing offense.
What I'm saying, dude.
No, I'm not, man.
Yes,
You're
you are.
evading. You feel comfortable. Okay, what do you want to add in? I didn't ask anything else except, do you like the 2023 offensive chances offensively or this year's chances offensively? It's a simple question. You feel better with 23. Okay.
I think the
I think that's
23
crazy.
offense with the addition
You
of
fell
Saquon.
apart last year with that offense.
God, can I fucking speak a word without you cutting
But
off?
you're not making any fucking sense because
That's not, you just don't like what I'm saying because I'm
it's
telling
a
you,
simple
Kellen Moore
question.
sucks.
It's a simple question about 2023's offense versus 2024's offense. All right, let me hear this.
The 23 offense would be better with Saquon Barkley, 100%.
Okay. Yeah, probably. He'd be better with O.J. Simpson, too. Okay, I mean, if that's what you want to go with.
Why are you giving Kellen Moore credit for improving the offense as a run game?
Giving,
You added Saquon Barkley.
Because he's doing what's in the huddle.
Okay.
You think that quarterback?
I will agree to disagree.
Everybody in Philly thinks that quarterback is going to flip a switch, and all of a sudden, the passing offense is going to turn itself.
Never once did I say that. Never once did
I say anything about defense or Barkley or DeAndre Swift. I asked you a simple question. I asked you if you feel better about last year's offensive team versus this year's team that's running people off the road, off the.
Yeah, typically you don't feel great about a 31st ranked passing offense with AJ Brown and Devontae Smith. Yeah, typically you wouldn't feel good about that. I don't feel great about that. Yes, correct.
Okay, well, I told you day one he's the wrong hire. I know that, but at least he's doing the one thing they didn't do last year. They didn't stick with the bullshit that derailed the offense a year ago by continuing to throw the ball. They didn't. They kept throwing it, and that's why he was third in turnovers, and he was fourth in sacks. Dude, listen, here's Hurts this year. He's got 30. He's fifth in sacks taken right now, and his targets are down in the 50s. This guy, and people want to go, well, it's because Barkley's taking all the carries away. That's not true. That is so not true. It's because philosophically they went into the bye going, who gives us the better chance of winning a championship? They said the run game. Even the players said it. Let's get back to our identity by running the ball. I thought the identity of a football team was the quarterback under center. It is anywhere else, but not in Philly.
Okay, good. You take Kellen Moore. You take him. Give me a 31st ranked passing offense. Jalen Hurts has been in for 3 years. You love to tell me how much Jalen Hurts sucks. Okay, good.
This guy's
Jalen Hurts has never had the 31st.
I never wanted to hire him. I never wanted him hired in Philly. Ever. You picked him. This is what he's done. And he's looked at the talent in the huddle, and what he's done is this. He said, look, who's the best guy to give me a chance to win? It's Barkley. It's not Hurts. The passing game has gone down the toilet. I told you it would.
Passing game went down the toilet.
I never in a million years. I said,
on Kellen Moore.
Do you guys remember my predictions, what I said he'd throw for? I said he'd throw for 3,400 yards this year. And that's what he's on track for. And I said that guy will struggle in the offensive passing game with a guy like Kellen Moore because he's never in a million years ever coached a player like that. That's exactly what I said.
Okay, good. And he's completely depleted the passing game. So good. Enjoy your marginal run game improvements that are almost every bit of improvement in the run game is chalked up to the addition of Saquon Barkley. Not Kellen Moore.
I never in a million years wanted him hired. Never. Never.
What is your point?
My point is he's doing what's best for the team.
Okay, by depleting the passing offense completely.
Yeah, because the quarterback's not good enough. They're 11 and 2.
The passing offense was better last year with the same quarterback.
The passing offense was not better with third and turnovers. How was it better?
The passing offense the last 2 years was way better than it was this year.
So you choose you think you have a better shot to win a championship with last year's offense. Don't add Barkley in because Barkley, that's not reality.
Because you're giving the improvement of the running game success to Kellen Moore.
No. I'm giving you the fact that the offensive coordinator is calling plays that fits the winning system that they put in there now.
Kellen Moore doesn't get a fucking cookie for handing the ball off to Saquon Barkley.
Shouldn't have hired him.
Okay, good. We agree. He sucks.
Oh, they are 11 and 2 and have 9 wins in a row.
Okay, good. You're giving Kellen Moore credit for that.
I'm giving Kellen Moore credit for identifying Jalen Hurts sucks. Yeah.
You're conveniently choosing to give Kellen Moore credit.
I'm giving Kellen Moore the ability to go, guy can't win games for us. They took the motion out. They took all that other stuff out. They know he's limited, so they're going to go with the running of the game. Hey, they're going to run the Bulls. This is like the running of the Bulls right now. You're going to go as far as this thing goes.
It's like the dude who burns an entire city to the ground to get the pot of gold. Hey, I got the pot of gold, but
that's
the entire
what you're doing.
On fire. Oh, you made the running game better with Saquon, but our fucking passing
offense. That's what you did.
That's
what you did. This is what you are. This is who you are.
We're not even arguing about anything because you haven't let me say a word to even understand where I'm coming from.
I don't know where you're coming from.
You haven't made a point other than that you think Kellen Moore has improved the offense or he's done a good job.
I never in a billion years said he improved the offense. I said he did what's right for the fucking offense.
Okay.
Not improved it. I never in a million years said he improved it. I said he did what was right, not improved it.
If you think
because I said at the beginning of the year, he's not going to improve the offense.
If you think it's right to completely diminish your passing offense,
11 wins.
the $60 million. There it goes again. I cannot. I literally haven't gotten a fucking sentence out. If you think it's good to diminish your passing offense, to hand the ball off to Saquon, I don't think it takes a genius. In fact, I think my godson, who's an infant, would know. Hey, hand the ball off to Saquon Barkley. It's probably a good idea. He's diminished the passing offense. It's the worst it's been in the Jalen Hurts era. What is the explanation for that?
Jalen sucks.
But Jalen was the quarterback last year. So
and he sucked last year.
Jalen got even worse?
He sucked last year.
Okay, so Jalen got even worse. That's what you're saying.
Yes.
All right, that's fine. If that's your explanation.
That is totally my explanation. And that's been my explanation for 3 years here. That's been my explanation for 3 years. I've never deviated off that. He's limited. I've never deviated off that. Ever.
He was limited last year too, no?
He stunk last year.
Okay, he was limited in 22, no?
They ran the RPO more. They ran at a clip more than any other team.
Okay, good.
So completely ran that offense was centric RPO. Okay, now because they signed all these wideouts, now you got AJ not wanting to win this way. They want to win throwing the ball. That's what AJ wants to do. Okay? Even the players don't want to win this way. Well, you want to go back to your way at 23? You'll get dusted in the opening round of a divisional game.
But why have you been telling me for the last 12 weeks we're going to get dusted in the opening round playing like this?
I still think you are anyway.
That's my fucking point.
Dude, you have so many points. I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. I told you, wrong hire. He's doing what's best for the huddle. That's it. And you're telling me you'd rather have 23's offense than 24's offense, even though you've won 9 in a row and you're 11-2, and you're giving them credit for Barkley. No, I'm giving them credit for identifying Hurts' inabilities. That's
Congrats,
what I've
Kellen
been
Moore.
saying all year.
Congrats, Kellen. You learned how to hand the ball off to the best running back in football. Wow. What a prolific offensive coordinator.
The quarterback sucks.
Okay.
He does.
The last 3 years, too.
Yeah. Okay. Here's something else about that, too. So,
if I
put Sam Darnold in that offense right now, Sam Darnold is 11-2, and he's got Addison, and he's got Jefferson, and he's got Aaron Jones, and a lesser O-line, and he's outplayed him 10 times this season in how he's played. Explain that to me. For a guy who was a journeyman,
yes,
explain that.
The quarterback can throw the ball well.
Okay, so the quarterback in Philly can't.
Okay, yeah, he requires a different offense. Kellen Moore has his head's spinning on what to do. That's my point.
The quarterback is not as good of a passer as Sam Darnold.
What is it? Are you breaking news here? We've been saying this for years.
You have?
Yes.
I've been hearing MVP candidate. I don't remember people telling me that we've been seeing this for years, been telling me 44-19 and all of this others. It's not what I hear. I must have my head somewhere else because that's not what I hear. Because what I'm saying is that guy is not good enough for the talent that's in that freaking huddle. That's what I have been saying from day one. Day one.
Okay, good.
And hey, I'm just saying. And Kellen Moore, at the end of the day, I said it like when they hired him. This guy's not the right coordinator for this guy, but at least he did one thing important. He took Howie's signing of Barkley. Barkley's having a historic rushing year because of the talent they have in the old line, And so, you know what? Like you said, doesn't take your cousin, your 9-year-old cousin to figure out who the guy that's going to give you the best chance to win. It's going to be Barkley, not Hurts. And by the way, Kellen Moore is trying to save his job.
Yeah, well, he's doing a terrible job at it. If I'm across the league, I wouldn't hire that dude to do anything on my offensive side.
You know what a general manager or anyone will say? They would go like this: well, Hurts is not good enough to pass. At least they won ball games, and if they get to the NFC title, he'll get a look. He'll get a look.
He didn't deserve shit.
Okay, well, again, shouldn't have hired him.
Done absolutely nothing for our offense.
Brian Johnson now was a scapegoat. Now
Kellen absolutely nothing for the offense.
Hold on. So Brian Johnson was a scapegoat. So now Kellen Moore's a scapegoat. So we're going to bring someone else in, and next year it'll be the same shit all over again. Just one thing and one common denominator. You know what that'll be? The quarterback. I mean, Nick sucks as a coordinator when he was 2-5. Now Brian Johnson sucks, and now Kellen Moore sucks. So we're going to go on a fourth one. Okay.
I never. I'm
not saying you said that. I'm
never
saying
once in this discussion have I said Jalen.
I never said you said that. I just fucking said that. I said for Jalen Hurts, he's going to have a fourth coordinator because they need another scapegoat on why he sucks. I mean, eventually you look at the guy in the room and go, what's the one common thing? It's the quarterback. He's still the guy. That's who he is. I mean, dude.
This is how I know that people don't fucking listen. This fucking dumbass, DRC. Can't keep saving Hurts. DRC, this morning I got comments I'm the biggest Hurts hater because now I'm questioning him. Are you even fucking listening, dude? Nowhere did I save Hurts. I said Kellen Moore has completely diminished the passing offense, even more so than it's ever been with Jalen Hurts. That's a fact. That's not emotion.
What's Jalen Hurts' accountability in that, in your opinion? So if you're going to blame Kellen, how much blame are you giving the, like John says, the execution?
Yeah, I mean, Jalen definitely deserves some blame for sure. But
I mean,
we also had
John's big thing. When I hear John talking, John says, hey, you can call all the plays you want, but if the player doesn't execute it, it's on the player. So the guy that you do the show with agrees with what I'm saying, that's on the player not executing the play calling. Okay? And if the play calling is not, he's not executing it, so it's more on the play. It's more on Kellen than it is on Hurts. I mean, I don't know here, man. I mean, we got to eventually start looking at what the problem is in the passing offense. And by the way, here's something that's even crazier. 9-game win streak, 11-2, and here we are going into Pittsburgh. And you should be thinking right now, holy shit, look at where you are right now. You are probably – Xander, Minnesota's going to have losses. You see the end of their schedule? Dude, they're gonna take L's. I think Detroit's gonna take some. They got Buffalo this week. By Monday, you could be in a position right now where you have the lead at home field advantage come Monday with a win over Pittsburgh.
And that's not true.
That's where you are right now.
Detroit gets a tiebreaker if they lose to an AFC team.
I think there's more losses coming. They got Minnesota coming up.
You think You think the Bills are going to beat Detroit at Ford Field this weekend?
I don't know.
Okay.
I think Josh Allen
shredded for how many?
I think Josh Allen is capable of doing anything.
Okay, and how many points did that Bills defense give up to the Rams last week? 38?
Every week is a different matchup.
All right, yeah, I agree.
I don't personally think that Detroit secondary is all that.
We need to improve the passing game.
It's too late.
Okay.
It's too late. You're going on your 14th game. Or what are you going on? You're going on your 14th game. You really think in week number 15 you're going to improve the passing game when all year long? By the way, the passing game hasn't been improved in 2 years. I mean, now all of a sudden in week 15, we're going to try. We got enough time to. It hasn't improved in 2 years. And here we are.
I don't get how you would explain a drop off in passing like this as all the quarterback when the quarterback was here last year.
They took the game away from them.
Yeah.
That's what they did.
Okay. Good.
They did the right thing by taking the ball out of his hands. That's why they're winning.
Oh, man. Oh, man.
By the way, wrong hire. Said it day one.
They fired Brian Johnson for so much less than more. Kellen Moore has objectively made the offense worse. 100% worse.
He made it clearly more predictable than it was a year ago.
Yeah, you added Saquon Barkley. I'm not giving Kellen Moore credit for that. For your running game improving. No.
It's the only thing saving it.
It's the same thing you said 2 weeks ago that we're arguing. We're not even arguing. We're arguing about fucking nothing. 2 weeks ago, I came on the show and you asked me the question: has Kellen Moore been successful? Because he was brought here to improve the passing game.
Has he improved the passing game? Right.
Yeah, no, he hasn't.
No. Okay, I know that. I knew that from day one. He wasn't. He never coached this thing or style. That's why they needed to get an art. But see, this comes back down to the organization not wanting to give a coordinator complete control over an offense. You know, funny. Somebody said something in the chat about Sam Darnold. Could Sam Darnold succeed in Philadelphia? No, he could not have the year he's having in Philly that he had in Minnesota. You know why? Because the head coach is a play calling head coach, and he has autonomy over the playbook, and he calls the plays. This is what happens, Xander.
Sam Darnold would be lighting it up in this offense.
I'm sorry, he would. He absolutely would.
Anybody that can pass the ball would be lighting it up in this offense.
Anybody.
So if people think if people
you said something that's important, okay? And I'll tell you what that is. Dude, look at Minnesota. They're like 9th in passing and they're like 12th in rushing. That's kind of all you're asking for. You want some balance in there. Okay? You want some balance. Why won't the offensive coordinator call passing plays? They do in the first quarter, Xander. Then they realize they're not going anywhere and they go back to the bread and butter.
Yeah, but my point is that his passing game sucks.
How did anybody think that would be the right hire is beyond me.
His passing game is brutal, dude. It's gone backwards in every metric. It's gone way backwards. Okay. So the reason that I said what I said about last year's offense is not that I'm trying to crown last year's offense. Last year's offense, we were the 14th ranked passing offense. I would rather be the 14th ranked passing offense this year with the addition and then have Saquon Barkley bolster your running game. Dropping from 14 to 31 in the passing game is not a good move. That's
a perfect world, what you're talking of. The NFL,
I get it.
It's not a perfect world.
My point is that Jalen was better in the passing game with different coordinators. You completely got rid of that.
Shane Steichen is the only time he was really good.
Well, I mean, I know he turned the ball over more last year, but he certainly moved the ball more in the passing game last year.
First 10 games, probably so. Yep.
I mean, I don't know. Was the issue last year in the collapse the offense or the defense? Or both? They both sucked in the end of the year.
At the end, it was just all over the place. So, I don't know. I mean, again, now, let me ask you this question. Do you think they're going to compromise Sunday? Do you think the coordinators are going to do exactly what you said, that they're going to try and force feed A.J. Brown more than Barkley in this ball game against the Steelers? Do you think they do that? Because to me, that's a recipe to lose.
It's a recipe to lose, but that Pittsburgh front seven.
Now, would you rather lose the game by a point or two? Wait, let me.
I asked John that this morning.
Would you rather lose the game and all of a sudden you saw Hurts go for 285, 2 touchdowns, Barkley goes for 175? Because, Xander, at the end of the day, if you lose to Pittsburgh by 2 points, my narrative on your team ain't changing one bit. It's not, because this is a collection of what you've done so far this year. Okay, Pittsburgh's good. They're 10-3. They're not a fucking stiff team, and they're well coached. Now, if you get blown out 38-17, we got a different conversation going on how that thing looks. But if you get beat 24-23, 24-22 in a ball game like this, and all of a sudden you see more balance in the offense, I'm going to come away from it going like this. Hey, man, I'll tell you what. You get into the NFC playoffs playing like that, you're probably going to go to the NFC title game if you have some balance. You're going to need balance against Detroit to get to that NFC title game, in my opinion.
I agree. So
what I said, do you think this week they're going to force feed AJ?
Well, I will say the matchup is better. It is.
They're
the
not
Pittsburgh
good
front
saying.
seven is nasty good. I mean, they're incredible good. Cam Hayward's playing like an all-pro again at 35 years old. TJ Watt's probably the best edge rusher in the league this year. Alex Highsmith is dominating right now in pressure percentage. They're all beast. You know, they got Patrick
Your
Queen.
boy in the backfield from Bama's playing great.
Patrick Queen is a linebacker. Yeah, but that's secondary. I mean, I'm talking about that front seven when it comes to running the ball.
Yeah.
That it's now I think they're going to be able to run successfully this week, but I wouldn't hate it. And to answer your question, listen, I asked John the same question this morning because in my personal opinion, I do not think we can win a Super Bowl this year with the way we're playing.
You're right.
I do not think we can win a Super Bowl passing the ball for 100
What did John say to that
160
question?
yards.
What did John say to that?
He said he'd rather win because he wants the 1 seed. Because here was my hypothetical. Jalen throws for 300 yards. AJ Brown has 100 plus, and you lose the game on a field goal, or you have 118 in the air. Saquon Barkley dominates on the ground again, and you win the game.
I think you're just feeding disaster.
Well, if you want to get to if right now, I think everything you do should be to bolster your chances at winning a Super Bowl.
No, that's right. You see, this is where this guy doesn't get it.
This guy is a fucking moron. This guy has never had a good comment in the history of comment.
Brown, this is talking. We're not talking about 11-2. We're talking about a Super Bowl title. 11-2 is irrelevant. What we're saying, Xander and I are talking about winning a freaking Super Bowl. Okay, stop talking about micro and look at macro. You're looking at the big picture here, guy. Haters, look at this. So we're trying to figure out a way to win a Super Bowl. This guy's calling it hating. Hey, dude, you have no idea what you're talking about. I mean, seriously, you must debate a burnt toast and spilt milk. Okay, so for you, I'm with you on this. You get beat by a kick or you get beat by a defensive interception at the end of the game. Is that going to change your opinion that the Eagles are good or bad? If you get beat 21-18 or some shit like that, is that going to change your opinion of them?
No, I mean, it's not. And it's not going to ultimately matter all that much other than you'll probably slip out
playing an AFC team
for the 1 seed. Now, if you win this week, I mean, we're close to locking down the number 2 seed. So you're at the top. You're going to lock in the number 2 seed with another couple wins. Like I said, we're going to get to the playoffs. And we can all be excited about Saquon hopefully setting a rushing record and all these things and potentially winning out if we beat the Steelers and going 15-2. If, in my estimation, if we don't get the passing game going to some extent, we will lose before the NFC title game. Forget Detroit. We're not beating Green Bay. I don't even think we're beating the fucking Bucs if we can't pass the ball.
This has been one of my favorite segments.
That's why I'm mad at Kellen Moore, because I think he's done a fucking terrible job at the passing game, and it's more important. I'm not giving you kudos for handing the ball to Saquon Barkley. I don't think that's impressive. You inherited the best offensive line in football. And
that's not impressive. Nobody said it was impressive. It's not impressive.
That's just what I'm saying.
It's just identifying weakness.
I want to get the passing game going more.
Hey, it's not impressive. You've made it more predictable. Absolutely. Kellen Moore's not impressive. The unit, the record is.
Can you imagine? I mean, Kellen Moore. I mean, yeah. Listen.
Look,
a lot of people in our little argument there, people thought I was backing Jalen Hurts. I love Jalen Hurts. That's not what that was. Because any other quarterback with these weapons would be fucking shredding it. They would have 5,000 passing yards. These weapons are insane. I think Philadelphia is forgetting how good our weapons are right now because of what our offense looks like.
I think the quarterback and the offensive coordinator forgot about
having the 31st ranked passing game with these weapons is blasphemous on Kellen and Jalen.
It's a joke.
It's a joke. It's pitiful.
So, do you believe the offense will change by the end of the year?
I'm more in your camp. I mean, you're 15 weeks into this. How much are you changing at this point?
You're not. You're not. Hey, by the way, let's get to the supers because we have Jesus, Sander. This thing went so good and so fast.
We just started yelling at each other. It's called
Italians, guy. Relax. I mean, have you ever been I'm sure you've been at an Italian dinner table here. That's kind of what it was.
My mom is 100% Italian. My grandparents were 100% Italian.
Well, then we're good. You understand what we're doing here.
I just think you're a fucking box of rocks. Joe High, I already read yours. Joe, thank you, man. I appreciate that. PI says, for Krause's coach, look at that, man. So it's for the JAKIB Palooza, where we're giving away everything, we're going to do a super chat match where we match every dollar, and every super chat dollar will be for the Krause's coach. So if we get $500, we'll match it. If we get $1,000, I'll match it. If we get $5,000, we're going to match it, and we're going to donate all those coats to Krause's coach. So awesome stuff. Appreciate that, PI.
Congratulations, guys, during the holidays.
This team isn't playing well at home. You think this team that from the front office to the 53rd have a hangover from last year's 49ers game? Seems like they're playing not to lose. I don't see that, PI.
Nothing to do with anything.
I don't see that.
It's just not. What's happened is that Barkley's changed the narrative right now in what they're doing, and they were going with what's going to give them the best opportunity to win, and that's run the ball. Dude, like I said, and by the way, Mark Holmes was dead on about Moore. And don't forget, Mark's coming up here with Philly 500. He said that Kellen Moore would not improve the passing game. And he said that, and they're 31st. Like you said, Xander, he was right.
Joe High checks in. Appreciate it, PI. Appreciate it, Joe High. How can you compare this year to last year when Hurts wasn't setting protections and reading the defense? Dan is right. Which additional responsibility? Hurts is not good enough. This makes Moore a good coach to realize this. Well, he's watched the demise of the passing game from 14 to 31st overall. If that's how you quantify, listen, I'm not saying it's not on Hurts too, but Kellen Moore has done absolutely shit.
Well, let me say this. Somebody brought this up earlier. Do you think the adding of pass protections for him, having to pick that up, has also stunted his growth a little bit? I mean, it's more responsibility for him. He's still taking sacks. You know, people go like this. Well, he's doing better against the blitz. Well, he's 5th in sacks.
His sack rate's through the roof too, by the way, because all the other guys who have a lot more sacks than him are dropping back way more than he is. So it's a big problem. The sacks. Sileo has been right about that for weeks. On the Kellen argument, players are open. I love Jalen, but his pocket presence and looking downfield needs to improve. Yeah, he sucks at it. He's literally awful at it. It's almost hard to watch at times, Matt Bird. It's uncomfortable to watch him in the pocket at times. It really is. Joshua Manning says, Sills, do you think if Hurts had this year's defense last year that maybe he wouldn't have pressed so hard, which led to so many turnovers? I think he'd have confidence to pull the trigger.
Okay.
I agree.
There's something to that.
That's why it's really hard to compare last year's team.
Joshua, what you're getting now is what's saving the Eagles right now is you're getting a ton of 3 and outs over there on that defensive side of the ball. So when they are stagnant in the first quarter, you're seeing a football team that's able to rally themselves, get the running game going. But again, when you get playing into these winter months and you get better teams that you're going to get into playoffs, you're not going to be afforded the opportunity to have a shit first quarter. What's that number you gave me, Xander? They've only scored 17 points in the first quarter all season long. That's not going to be good enough.
Think about that for a second. That's 13 quarters of football. That's 3 games and a quarter of football in the first quarter, and we've had 17 points.
It's atrocious.
Yeah, Kellen Moore. Ooh. Kellen Moore, he's dialing up the game plan, baby. Woo! Kellen Moore.
Hey, Kellen Moore's dialing up the game plan on what cards he's been given.
If I'm Mark Holmes right now and my Cowboys have been all but eliminated from playoff contention, I am taking victory laps that the Philadelphia Eagles decided to hire Kellen fucking Moore, who has diminished our passing game completely. Nice. Thank you, Kellen. Anthony Wilson says, Sills, you criticize the guy about the blitz. You trashed him about the turnovers. He improved both of those. He needs more yards, but let it play out. Yeah, but they took it all off his plate, Anthony.
From a guy who was throwing the ball 30 times last year, you're now throwing the ball 14 times. You tell me what you think. I mean, there was a great Sal Palantonio stat. By the way, we're going to get to Battle Royale here at the bottom of the hour here with Mark Holmes and also with our friend Philly 500. We're going to get through the super chats. So we're going to do that.
Yeah, we got 2 more.
I'll say this to you here too. I mean, end of the day here, Anthony, I mean, where has he improved in the passing game himself? Good.
11 wins. Sills sounds like there's 11-2 comments. I agree. I don't know why that's so much of an emphasis today.
What's the 11-2? I mean,
well, for Kellen Moore, you were giving Kellen a lot of credit for the 11-2.
Well, everyone gives Jalen credit for 44-19. I mean, what? The coordinator gets no credit, but the quarterback gets all the credit. Got it.
Defense giving up 18 points a game. Anybody that thinks this team is an offensive
wait a minute. The quarterback gets the credit for 44-19. Nick said it this week that he wins at a great rate, but the coordinator gets no responsibility for that either, too. Nick said that.
Well, what coordinator are you giving more responsibility to, Vic or Kellen?
Kellen Moore is dealing the cards that are dealt with him, and the quarterback's not good enough.
Yeah. All right. Well, I think Brian Johnson did more with his cards.
Okay.
Lord's grace, this is a complete reverse of last season. Your defense was last, and this year your offense is last. Just passing is last. Their offense is not last.
No.
Mac Main says Jalen is doing things now that he should have been doing in his first and second year. His growth is slow. He's in the special ed class of QBs. No offense. Oh, that's pretty scathing. I don't want to go there, but
that segment was one of my favorites.
Of course it was. You got to yell like an old Italian.
Oh, you see what he did? He threw old Italian in there.
I got that from Quinyon Mitchell, who called Darius Slight old about 40 times on the field the other day.
I saw that, man. And both them guys are going back and forth. But
You're an old head.
But that's friendly. Hey, man.
All right, I gotta go. You got 500.
Hey, listen.
I'm not saying goodbye to you today. All right, I'm done with you for the day. In fact, I'm going to mute the rest of your hour and a half show.
Wait a minute.
If you need a break, if you need a super chat, figure it out yourself. I'm muting this show today.
Oh, hey, watch this. Does this make you feel better? I'm sorry.
No, I don't need an apology.
See, hey, I'm Xander.
I want you to ask Philly 500, though, if he thinks Kellen Moore sucks.
No, I'm going to. That'll be the first question out of the gate. Wait a minute, Xander. Honey, I'm sorry.
Oh, Sileo, shut your trap. Moore has wide receivers #1 in the league in separation. Yeah, and they're 48 yards down the field. Thank you, Matt.
All right, let's get to battle.
All right, I got to go. See you, dude.
Thank you, brother. I appreciate it. Make sure you guys please hit the like button here. Holy cow. That was fireworks. I love that stuff, man. I really do. Great stuff by Xander Krause. Don't forget to check him out. Birds 365. Okay. So, did you see Micah Parsons walking off the field like that 49er linebacker last night after Cincinnati took care of the Cowboy season? And I saw Mark Holmes. This guy was eating 2 ribeyes. This guy had 5 drumsticks. This guy had 18. I've never seen a guy drink 18 beers, 2 ribeyes, and like 18 sliders from White Castle. This guy gunned them all. He was eating at such a frenzy after since he took care of them. And I will say this, though, to Philly 500. Mark Holmes was right about one thing. I said it from day one, Kellen Moore would be the wrong hire. The Eagles have the 31st pass offense in pro football. Okay? And this week you had a couple girls crying, Hurts and AJ. Let's see here on what happens. Happy holidays to my good friends, Philly 500, and the legendary Dallas Cowboy creator of content, our friend, Mark. Mark, I ate 3 ribeyes and 14 sliders. Holmes. But I tell you, Philly 500's right, man. When your football team starts blowing, man, White Castle gets a call, doesn't it, Mark?
There ain't no White Castle, man. Listen, White Castle and all those other ones, that shit's nasty. Okay? Last time White Castle was at the draft in Detroit. They ain't eating that shit. That's just like eating ass.
Well, I don't know what's worse, White Castle or that Cowboy defense.
Actually, it wasn't so much the defense as it was the special teams. I mean,
let me tell you, I got your ass on here for one thing, okay? And I'm going to tell you, you were right.
For comic relief.
And before, wait, no. Philly 500's got to admit this now. Kellen Moore, like we said at the beginning, he has made Hurts a worse passer. And now you've got A.J. Brown crying about it. Philly 500, Kellen Moore, man. I mean, right now, your opinion on where they are offensively, they're the 2nd worst passing team in the league right now. He's taken 35 sacks. Damn. Right now, get this, A.J. Brown is target per game, because I know he's missed games, but per game, he's 54th rated. No, he's 50 rated, and Smitty is 54th rated. Give me your takeaway on what you're seeing with this offense.
Yeah, I mean, they definitely, there's definitely a problem in the passing game. It's pretty disappointing. But I'll tell you, I'll be truthful, 100% honest. I don't know if it's Kellen Moore or not, because there's so many voices with this offense and who's doing what. I don't know who's doing what, who's calling what. I don't know who's scripting the game plans. We don't know. Everything is so muddled. I wonder more so if you just have so many different voices in this guy's ear at one time. So I don't know. I don't know how much it's Kellen Moore and how much it's Nick or how much it's Jalen himself. Like, I don't know. I mean, it's very, you know, it's very upsetting to see the passing game, especially the last game and, you know, over the course of the last month. You know, but I think they're better than that. I think they can be better than that. And we'll see if they can get it together. But I don't know if it's Kellen Moore or not. I honestly don't know because I don't know who's calling what anymore. I have no idea.
Mark, does this offense look anything like Kellen ran in Dallas with Dak?
Yeah, it with the exception of you actually run the football more. But yeah, here's the thing that's funny is we thought that, you know, Kellen Moore with Justin Herbert, that was just an aberration. That wasn't actually Kellen Moore's fault. Justin Herbert last year was 20 TDs, 7 interceptions, and a 93 rating. This year, he's got 14 TDs, 1 interception, a 98 rating. Clearly, something changed big time between Kellen Moore and getting rid of Kellen Moore. Kellen Moore is not a great he comes up with some great ideas, but it's not consistent. You can shake your head all you want, but the numbers are there. Your offense is not passing the ball well. Thank God you got Barkley.
Right, but Barkley, I mean, God forbid we, you know, where did Barkley, you know, giving him the ball all the time and coming up with that game plan? I remember you said Kellen Moore doesn't like to run the ball. He doesn't run the ball. Philly, you're not going to like him. He doesn't run the ball. All he does is run the ball. We run the ball great. What are you talking about?
Hey,
how about this?
I was wrong on. Oh no, I'll admit it. I was wrong.
How about this? Philly first. Philly, how about this? Xander and I just got into an argument over this here, and you tell me. I personally think, and I agree with Mark, he was never going to improve on Jalen's inefficiencies because Jalen Hurts, as I've said from day one, I think he struggles on reading secondaries, and I think he struggles from the pocket. He does. Mm-hmm. The amount of here's a primary trend and analytic number here. So Josh Allen has dropped back 425 times this year, and he's been sacked 13 times. Hurts has dropped back 325 times, and he's been sacked 35 times. I mean, it's a pocket presence thing, and it's footwork. So I would say this to you. Don't you think Kellen did this at the bye? You know what? Let's take the ball out of the passing part of this. Let's hand the ball to Barkley, and let's ramp that up. You guys are running at a clip of 38. Didn't Kellen do what's best for the team and the huddle? By going with Barkley more than with Hurts? Isn't that what you should do as a coordinator?
Yeah, but didn't the offensive line guys like Lane Johnson go to the head coach and tell him to do that?
Yes.
So it's what they wanted. So, you know, I'm not trying to say like Kellen Moore's this great offensive coordinator. I don't know how much of a good fit he is at the end of the day either. I just don't. I just think everything is so muddled when it comes to Nick and the play calls and who's doing this, who's doing that. I don't know where the blame primarily goes to. I really don't. And maybe it goes to Kellen Moore, but you know, I don't know. I really don't know.
When you look at it, Mark, and you saw now Kellen in Dallas had the number 1 ranked offense twice with Prescott, right? Had the number 1 ranked. Yeah. Now again, to Philly's point, postseason. There were trip-ups in the postseason, but in those years, they won 12 games. There were division titles that were involved in all of this. Okay, when you're watching Philly, I saw you watching the Philly game the other day when you were live streaming. I saw you watching it. I mean, does this thing, again, I'll ask you the question, does it remotely look anything like when Dak was throwing the ball under Kellen Moore?
No, not at all. Because I think you actually had a better quarterback with Dak Prescott running it than Jalen Hurts. And I kind of said before, I don't think Jalen Hurts is really a great pocket quarterback. I think that he is better being a more read option type of a quarterback. And I don't think that the two of them mix that well together.
Philly?
I guess I don't know.
Philly, how
To
about
me,
this? How
it's
about
like-
this, Philly? Surely you see there's a problem.
Yeah, of course you see there's a problem, but I don't. Part of
You're
me
11
feels
and
like
2. It's hard to see it when you're 11 and 2, right?
no, it's not that it's hard to see it. I see it. Obviously they have a problem in the passing game, but I also don't know that I think it's directly the offensive coordinator, and I don't know that I think it's directly the quarterback.
So you
I
think
it's,
Nick still has some autonomy?
I do. I do. I think this is a lot to do about Nick. I do. I think that he has more control over the offense than we think. That's just I don't know. It's my theory because it looks a lot of times like it did last year. And if you come out in the first quarter, look, they do things that I don't understand. And maybe it's Nick Sirianni, but like why on third down or with 2 minutes left in the half do you take Barkley out of the game? Why would you do that? But they did it. But they did it last year when they took Swift out of the game. So Kellen Moore wasn't here last year. When they come out in the first quarter and they want to throw, well, Kellen Moore wasn't here last year, and they did the same thing last year, and it didn't work. So how much of it is Kellen Moore? How much of it is what we're trying to mix in with what Kellen Moore does? How much of it is like just that we're trying to blend two different things that don't mix? That's what I get out of it when I see. So I don't know. It's very frustrating. That's for sure.
Now the drama part of this, and let's start with Mark here. So Mark, you guys get beat by Cincinnati, pretty much ending your season and making it 5-8 now.
Mm-hmm.
And unless there's a miracle or somebody
There's no
doesn't get on a bus and shows up, the Cowboys are not making the postseason here. Would you make a Michael Parsons walking off the field prior to the end of the ball game there and not sitting there with his teammates to go down with the ship? And he wanted no part of that. Frustration, leadership, quitting on his team. How did you look at that?
I'm going to look at this a little bit differently because here's the reality is it doesn't matter what Micah Parsons does. He is not, it's always going to get flack. If he stays out on the field and changes jerseys, he's not passionate. He doesn't care about winning. He gets pissed off after Overshown, his buddy, Agent Zero, literally has his knee explode on the field and loses in traumatic fashion. Okay, this is a guy who had an interview before the game who says, I want to be a Cowboy for life. I might take less money and things if there's a plan and so on. I don't have a problem with what he did. Now, if you look at what happened last night, that's a totally different thing. Dude refused to go into a game and left his teammates out there to dry.
Hey, Mark, personally, I think Kyle Shanahan has lost his football team.
Yeah, and this is where it's kind of crazy that who would have thought in the bingo card that Mike McCarthy might return and Shanahan would get fired?
No doubt.
But that's literally where we are right now.
Now to you, Philly, this drama, AJ and Hurts. I mean, then all of a sudden you had Hair Bob Lang and the propaganda team of the Eagles having every single Eagle guy walk it back because of what Brandon Graham said. I mean, they were basically just talking about each other, and they were talking about, now, should this stuff have been in-house? Absolutely, but surely this drama has played out all week long. And Nick was saying, well, we got over it Wednesday. I don't believe that. Do you think all the drama, first, what you thought of it, and do you think this drama bleeds into Sunday against the Steelers?
Like my thoughts with the whole drama thing is this. Because of the way the last year ended and the historical collapse you had, basically started the same way, right? It started with in-house stuff going snowballing into other in-house stuff, and it just snowballed on top of each other. Because of that, I have to worry on some level because what we saw last year. Can this head coach get this guys to get playing and get everybody on the same page and move forward? Has Nick Sirianni learned lessons from what happened last year? Because I don't think it's that unsimilar than what happened last year. It's just, how are you going to handle it? I think this Sunday, is the most important game of the Eagles regular season, because if they don't go out there and show that they, can move from it, if they go out there and struggle, if they play bad, if Jalen Hurts has a bad day passing again, if AJ Brown is visibly frustrated on the bench, what's going to happen? This thing is going to start to snowball just like last year. So I think this game will determine to me what's going to happen. Can this coach fix what happened this year? Can he move on from it? Because last year, everything started with these little in-house problems that kept snowballing, and they had no answer for it. So I think this game this week is the biggest game of the year.
Do you think Nick Sirianni is coaching for his job and how people perceive him on Sunday? If they get blown out 38-17, now look, if you lose a game, I said this earlier, 24-23 to a really good Steeler team, I'm not going to wig out over that. But if you get blown out 38-17, or it's a margin that you're going to look at and really question, and you see people bitching and crying and there's no targets to AJ and what have you. I mean, won't the perception be that Nick couldn't handle another meltdown again? He's a front-running coach. Isn't that
I think so, and I hate to say it. Now, I don't think it's as bad as last year, and I think they're going to go out, and I think they're going to beat the crap out of this team because I think they're different. But if you can't tell me on some level, after what happened last year, to have this almost happen at the exact same time as a year ago, there can't be questions. We got to go see that they can actually move on from this stuff. Let's go see it. So I think there's a lot to be proven on Sunday. And if they go out and they beat the crap out of the Steelers, all this stuff is over. It's going to die. But if it doesn't, if they play bad, if Hurts doesn't throw to AJ and, they come out and they look bad, people are going to keep talking about it. And it's only going to get worse. So I think this is a huge game. I really do.
Mark, for you, do you think that Mike McCarthy has done a great job of coaching through the disasters this year that were put in front of him? No free agent signings, the late signings of CeeDee Lamb, the late signing of Dak Prescott's contract, the bitching and the stupid bullshit that goes on with Micah Parsons, the really not tooling of the team. If any year the Dallas Cowboys can be criticized in their front office by not doing what Howie did, by going out, one thing Howie did and what he does every year compared to what you didn't do this year, he gives them a chance by building a roster. This year, the Cowboy front office did not build a roster that was going to be competitive. And we said that at the beginning of the year, you'd win 5 games. Here you are. You might win another one. But, Mark, they didn't really fill the holes on the team. They didn't fill the holes at running back. They didn't upgrade the defensive tackle position. They needed more depth. And they needed more depth, most importantly. Mark, tell me this. How can the Dallas Cowboys have a $60 million quarterback and have a $2 offensive line?
I'm not going to say Mike McCarthy doesn't have some blame to do in here because he makes some boneheaded calls too. In that game, here it is. You have Rico, who is literally averaging 7.3 yards a carry in that game. He runs off 14 yards. You got Cooper Rush, who's got like 160 yards. He's not even getting the ball down the field. I believe we are actually running the ball better than we were passing. And what do? We throw the ball 3 times in a row, have to punt the football. So Mike McCarthy is not the best coach in the world. It's really all of the above. You got injuries, you got a lack of depth, you got a lack of movement in the front office. You literally had the perfect storm of this team just being ass. But the reality is you can fire Mike McCarthy, but I don't know what you have out there that's going to necessarily be better. Bill Belichick's gone. Now, of course, the flavor of the week is Mike Vrabel. We've talked about Cliff Kingsbury. Hell, I've heard Kellen Moore. I don't know that any of that's any better than Mike McCarthy. But if Jerry and Steven do what they did, and all indications are we're going to be tight in money again, we're going to be a shit team next year.
When they say that they're going to be tight with money, that means they're going to be heavily into the draft. I mean, would you consider trading Michael Parsons to get numerous draft picks?
No, I tell you what, he's actually proved to me that he's still worth what he's done. You can laugh all you want because I know you still would take him in a heartbeat. That guy at least I believe because of what's happened this season, has been forced to grow up.
I love Mike.
If you look at his podcast, how he was yucking it up with Big Play Slay early in the season, trashing, you see he's kind of evolved after going through this season of literally being hell. Having been injured and stuff. I think he'll actually recognize that I've got to do something different, and that may be that he doesn't want to sign here with the Cowboys.
What did Parsons? How many tackles did he have last game? I forget.
How many times did he get literally chokehold?
I forgot how many tackles did he have last week. I'm just asking for a friend.
Okay, I hear you.
I'm asking for a friend.
Okay.
Hey, listen.
I hear what you're saying.
When Micah Parsons is Philadelphia, when he's an Eagle, he'll never have a Cowboy in his podcast.
Because of everybody focusing on his ass, other people feasted. That defense was doing pretty good against Joe Burrow. They may not have a great record, but it's not because of Joe Burrow.
I thought it was just Joe Burrow, though. When the Eagles played him, that's just Joe Burrow.
Joe Burrow does not make just the fifth best offense in football.
Okay. Wait, I got a question for you,
he's
Mark.
incredible. But
I got a
the
question
Cowboys
for you,
held
Mark.
him.
Really, chime in on this. Don't you think you should have hired Dan Quinn as your head football coach so he could have taken over the defense too? And also this, and seeing what he's doing right now with Washington. And Washington hasn't been relevant since 1997, that is. And here they are right now battling for a playoff spot, and your defense is taking a nosedive. Don't you think you had to coach in your – think about it too, dude. You had to coach in your building. You've had a couple of coaches in your building. Sean Payton, you've had this guy in your building. I mean, and yet you look at it and you let that guy go, and now he's doing things somewhere else, and you've kind of taken a step backwards defensively. I mean, so wasn't he the hire?
Yes, he could have been. But here's the reality of it is, I don't know how good Mike McCarthy would be if the front office would actually do what Washington is doing for Dan Quinn, listening to him, letting him coach, and providing what he's asking for.
He would be as good as he was in Green Bay.
Yeah, exactly. So how do we know that Mike McCarthy is all of the problems when we all look at it and see we were the last team to sign a free agent, and the free agent we signed was our own long snapper. That was literally all we did. We let go 9 freaking starters, and we bring back Zeke and Eric Kendricks to replace him. And everything else was, we're going to go with Mozzie.
You said they were going to be better, Mark. You said they were a better
team
this year.
No, I did not
say
they were
going
to be better.
I did not say they were going to be better.
No.
All right.
I said if they threaded the needle, if they stayed healthy and everything worked out perfect, that Mozzie was going to become an above-average defensive tackle, that they would be a decent team. But I did not say they were going to be.
You know what a treat it was on Sunday night to watch the Cowboys lose the way they did. I mean, in ultimate choke fashion, right? I mean, it's like, all right, the Cowboys, they can't really have a Cowboys choke season because they're so bad. But no, they found a way to lose by fumbling by trying to grab a punt and fumbling it and giving the ball back to the Bengals. I could not ask for a better Christmas present. That was wonderful. That was wonderful.
I'm glad we made your day.
Leon reborn.
You're not going to try to tell me Mozzie Smith has improved when you have the 30th ranked rush defense, are you?
He has gotten better. He's got 34 tackles.
You're 30th in rush defense.
Let me ask you something, Sills.
How the fuck are you getting better?
How many tackles did you have? How many tackles did you have your rookie year?
Wait, 19.
19? How about your second year?
None.
Okay.
IR.
All right, so he's got 34 his second year.
So what did he have his rookie year?
14.
So Sills had a better career than Mozzie.
First year.
First year.
First year. Okay.
Hey,
Mozzie's still okay.
Wait a minute now. Here. Okay, I was a 56 player taken. He was the 26 player taken, right?
Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
See, Mark always compares Mozzie to Jordan Davis, but he doesn't want to compare him to Jalen Carter because Jalen Carter's our number 1 defensive tackle, not Jordan Davis. Okay, and I'd still take Jordan Davis over Mozzie Smith.
All right. By the way, here. Hey, Mark. Here's one for you.
Here we go.
Hey, Mark. You still owe Philly an apology. Make up and apologize or at least
That's
admit
right.
he was right.
That's right. You got to admit I was right. You went off, remember? You had live streams of how Philly 500 could say the Eagles secondary is going to be better than our secondary. Dude,
Okay,
our secondary
okay.
kills your secondary.
I will apologize and admit that I was wrong in that.
Yeah.
When you also admit that I was right about Kellen Moore.
Give me to the end
I'm
of the
sorry,
year.
I didn't hear what?
Give me
You're
to the
right.
playoffs.
Your secondary is better than our crippled
All right.
secondary.
All right, fine. Yeah, you were right about Kellen Moore. But
Okay,
Kellen
there we
Moore's
go.
still not the reason why Dak chokes. See,
No, it's the front office.
the only reason
Front
you
office
don't like
doesn't
Kellen
do
Moore,
shit.
the only reason you don't like Kellen Moore
You know
is
what the
because
crazy
you
thing
want
is?
you want him to be the reason why Dak
hold it.
chokes.
Real talk here. Real talk here. The best friend for a quarterback is what?
Running game.
Okay.
Girlfriend.
And how about an offensive line? Do you have a good offensive line?
The best.
Yeah.
Okay. And receivers, you got Noah Browns out there or you got AJ Browns?
AJ Brown. No.
So explain to me how it is you got a great offensive line, the best running game in football, but your quarterback with two great receivers and a decent tight end is 32nd. Is that what it is in passing?
Yeah, listen,
explain that one too. I don't care who the offensive coordinator is. If you have everything right there, you should be able to be at least.
So you're saying then actually that Kellen Moore isn't the problem in Philly. That's what you just said.
No, I'm just
Are you saying Hurts is the problem in Philly?
You're saying Hurts is the problem.
I'm going to say probably both.
Yeah, he's saying Hurts is the problem.
Perfect storm of ineptitude.
Take that stand. Listen, I think I think that the passing game is disappointing, and what I wanted to know was how much did the statistics change for if you took out the first quarter? Because the way watching the game up until the last month, it felt like Hurts would get going in the second quarter and be okay. But over the course of the last month, he hasn't been good. And to be honest with you, this whole thing may be the biggest blessing in disguise because they actually are dealing with an issue while they're winning. When you win, you tend to not think about the things that you messed up on until it blows up in your face. By Brandon Graham doing that and acknowledging these issues now, we still have time to hopefully fix them. But I do think that this Sunday is going to tell us all we need to know. If this team comes out and beats the crap out of the Steelers, then we're good. But if they come out and Hurts looks dejected and he's not throwing good and A.J. Brown's shaking his head on the sideline, then you got to wonder if Nick is getting this team focused and headed in the right direction. Can he move on from this? I think that's a question we don't know yet about this coach.
One thing, and that's his only job too that he has now is that dynamic. Okay, so Philly, I ask you this every week, and every week the dynamic changes. Are you more concerned about Nick Sirianni or Jalen Hurts on your quest to win a Super Bowl? Because at the end of the day, this is not about winning home field. This is not about winning the NFC East. This is about winning a Super Bowl here. Are you more concerned with Hurts or are you more concerned with Sirianni as you move into championship months of December and January and then hopefully February?
Well, if I have to pick one person,
yeah,
I'm still going to go the coach Nick Sirianni over Jalen because the one thing with Jalen is I feel like he does have weaknesses in his pass game. He has deficiency. There's no doubt about it, right? He struggles, but when he needs that drive to win a game or to get it done, he always finds a way to get it done. You just can't deny his record and what he's done. He's a winner. I believe he's a winner. Yes, he has flaws. As where Nick Sirianni, what we saw last year in the collapse and what happened, and then you come back almost a year later to almost the exact time of year, and this stuff starts happening again. It makes me wonder about him. So to me, Nick has more to prove than Jalen. And that's acknowledging that Jalen has issues throwing the ball. I acknowledge that fully. I don't think Jalen has progressed in the passing game. And I think that's a problem. I do.
So, Mark, a couple more here. Wide receiver 2, O-line, DT. I know it's a couple months away in April there at Lambeau. Linebacker, safety, most notably a running back. I mean, shit. I mean, all these needs you have. I know other teams are talking about playoffs right now, and you're
Playoffs.
talking about that position here right now. I mean, dude. I mean, if you're what are you exactly finishing? What do you want to see the Cowboys look like towards the end of the year here in these last 5 games?
Well, what I want to see and what Jerry Jones wants to see are two different things, because Jerry's still talking about Cooper Rush gives us the best chance of win. I'll be honest with you. I don't know what the hell with Stephen and Jerry Jones, what it's about. On the same day you find out they're worth over $10 billion, $1.5 billion more than any other sports race guys. We literally have your buddy Stephen Jones talking about how tight money is. What you need to do is we need to see guys at least find out if they can play. I'd like to know, since Trey Lance is a free agent, since you gave up a 4th-round pick and paid him $5.3 million, can the guy play? Can he freaking play, or are you just going to let him walk and just waste a pick? And we need to start finding out some of these younger guys, get them at least coached up and some experience, and start just planning for next year. Jerry, of course, is still saying, well, you know, we still got games to win, and we're in great shape. Get out of here with that stuff, man.
All right, lastly here, Philly, they win Sunday, Eagles. Give me a score. Give me a score. And
you ready for this one? You ready?
Yeah.
31-14.
Oh, wow. Wait a minute now. Let me say this. The Steelers are number 1 in turnovers and time of possession, and they're 10-3. They're a pretty good football team. And the Eagles, by the way, Steelers haven't won. They don't play a lot, though, but the Steelers haven't won in Philadelphia since 1965.
No.
Okay. At Lincoln Financial here, obviously. So for you think this bad puppy's a blowout. Why?
I think the Eagles are going to come out. I think everything that happened this week, I think it's going to manifest itself in a good way. Here's what I think is going to happen. All right, the Eagles are going to score first quarter points this week. It's going to be the first time that everybody's going to expect them to come out, feed AJ Brown, feed Devontae Smith, try to make them happy. But they're going to come out and run the ball, and they're going to run the ball, and Pittsburgh. They're not going to be looking for it. They're going to be looking for them to try to appease those guys. Play action is going to start to work. They're going to put Hurts under center, and Hurts is going to rise up, and he's going to show that he can improve in the passing game. I'm believing if they don't show up this week, Sills, and they come out with a piss poor performance, a lot of my opinion is going to change, because I think this is do or die. After everything that happened, last year, this got to be a statement game. This has to be a statement game.
Okay.
I'm ready to play right now. I want to go to the wall.
Put him in, Coach. Put him in.
Over 250 yards passing for Hurts?
272.
Okay. Saquon Barkley, over 120 yards rushing?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm telling you, they're going off.
AJ Brown, over 120 yards receiving.
I'll say 100, and I'll say under 110 yards.
110 yards. And they hold the Steelers to 14 points.
Oh, who are they going to throw to? Pickens ain't playing, right? I mean, who they got? They got Rich Eisen running the back. Guys, Najee Harris so slow. No, I don't sweat Najee Harris. I don't sweat that offense. I don't think they can score points on us. I don't. I think the Eagles are going to beat the crap out of this team. I just got a feeling, Sills. I got a feeling. I'm like aggravated about that game last week. I want to play. You know,
how many points did Carolina score on you last week?
How many points did Carolina score?
Yeah.
What was it? 20. 20.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Nobody scores over 20 points on us. Don't worry.
Okay. I'm just asking.
Hey, that's also on the Steelers. The Steelers haven't given up more than 20 points all season long on any opponent all year long. So this would be a pretty big statement, like Philly's saying, if they put up 30-some-odd points on this Steeler offense. So, Mark, do you think
got to make a statement?
Do you think your Cowboys have anything to play for, or has the star dimmed and we're looking at the North Star on the different horizon right now, and you can barely see it. Do they win against Carolina, who, by the way, gave the Eagles a nice little test last week?
Okay, if you're doing Bet US, they are favored by 3. The first time in 33 games that the Carolina Panthers are favored. That's how low.
It's favored by 3 over Dallas.
Yes, the first time for them in 33 games that they've been favored. That's how low. I think the star needs to come off her helmet, and we just put an L on it. That's literally where we are.
No. 1-star rating is perfectly good. That's what it is. It's a 1-star rating.
Oh my!
But what we have to play for is draft picks. That's it. Draft picks.
So then that means you're losing.
But we're not even smart enough to lose when we should.
They're going to lose this game. They're playing Carolina.
Yes.
Yeah.
They're going to lose.
We have a better chance on the road than at home. We suck at home.
Yeah, that's true. You do. You suck at home.
Okay. We've only won one game against the Giants at home.
Carolina is favored.
That's crazy.
By 3. And they're wait. And you're at home?
Mark. They're in Carolina.
No, we're in Carolina.
Okay.
We play better on the road. Okay. We've gotten 4 of our wins on the road this year.
Oh my God. What a disaster.
I love Parsons though. That was so great. He's like, I don't know what he couldn't believe it. I love the guy. I love him. I love the guy.
I couldn't believe it.
Look at this, Billy. Cowboy fans, get Arch Manning. Kid from Texas.
To get Arch, yeah, I'm sure it is. I'm sure they wish. Except for Mark. Don't do that to Mark.
Because why? That means Dak's out the building.
Dak is gone if that happens. My most anticipated video I cannot wait to watch, and I'm going to do a blind reaction, is when Dak Prescott leaves Dallas, and Mark has to do a video. Hey friends, Mark Holmes, what's your buddy? Hey, Dak is gone. He didn't win any Super Bowls. Never was in an NFC Championship game. I don't know what to do about this. It's going to be the best video ever. I can't wait.
Oh my God!
I dream about that video.
My system is literally crashing on you guys, so I think my camera went out.
Yeah, your camera went out. Mark, tell these good folks how they can find you, my friend.
Right now in a gutter with the Dallas Cowboys.
Or go to DakPrescottFanboys.com.
Love Mark, you too, son.
Mark is also a member. He's not just the president. He's also a member.
Like the hair club guy. Holy shit. Mark, would you rather draft a running back from Boise State? Hey, Mark, they're giving you pointers on who to draft now instead of playoffs this weekend. Hey, Mark, it's really great to see you. You look better for some reason right now. I want to thank you, man. Make sure you check out this dude. He does a great job with his podcast, and he does a super job with the folks at BetUS. Unfortunately, his camera went out because he doesn't want to show you.
It came straight from the Cowboys, so it's broken.
Yeah, I know. Steven shut the whole deal off right now because they don't want any more of this BS. And Philly, legendary guy in Philly, tell them how they can find you, brother.
Just type in Philly 500. I'll come up.
There you go, brother.
We'll see what happens. Big game this week.
Thank you so much, man.
Thank you, man.
Great football weekend. Thank you, guys. Yes. I appreciate it. You guys are awesome to us, man. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having us.
You bet. Thank you guys so much. Fantastic stuff, man. Yeah, Mark kind of like, his camera went out there at the very end. Speaking of BetUS, our great friends at BetUS have teamed up with our guys over here at JAKIB Sports, and we're so proud to have BetUS. We're powered over these last 4 hours here by our friends at BetUS. Make sure you guys check out the website during this football season, especially with the bowl games coming around. And you got Army-Navy this weekend. Don't forget the YouTube 150. BetUS.com gives you that chance to go on during the season and for you to make those bets. The YouTube 150, 150%, your sign-up bonus up to $2K. Your second is 125%. Your third is also 125% up to $2K in your signing bonus. And if you're into crypto, you've got 200% there for your sign-up bonuses up to $2K. Go to betus.com.pa. That's betus.com.pa. Fastest payouts in the business. 24/7 personalized service, 365 days of the year. Live wagering on all major games. Please go to betus.com.pa. That's betus.com.pa and do me a favor. Tell them Big Sil sent you.
If you missed any of today's show on the JAKIB Media channel, listen to the podcast on your way home. Available on YouTube, Apple, and Spotify.
Ignite your nights with free live entertainment daily, only at Live Casino and Hotel Philadelphia's Center Bar. 7 days a week, enjoy some of the region's top party bands, performers, and DJs as they take the stage in the heart of the casino action. Great cocktails, live music, and lively moments. It's all happening at Center Bar at Live Casino and Hotel Philadelphia. Visit livecasinophilly.com for more details and the complete list of upcoming events. Must be 21 or older. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
The following is a real testimonial from the father of a young injured victim.
I didn't think she was going to make it.
Major Perry's daughter was the victim of a horrific accident caused by someone else's negligence.
If you don't find the right counselor, law firm that you're looking for, you will get lost in the wilderness.
Badly injured? Call the Fritz and Bianculli Law Firm at 215-458-2222 and find out why they say, "We got this."
In our hometown, we all look out for each other. We step up to keep our communities going strong. And at Independence Blue Cross, we're here to keep you going strong as the #1 health insurer in the region. No IBX is always looking out for you.
We noticed that there was mold creeping into our basement about a year and a half ago, and wanted to make sure that we were getting rid of the problem permanently. We actually reached out to several different contractors to get it resolved, and actually 2 of them recommended DryTech to us as a long-term solution. Other than the noise factor, we wouldn't even know that there was work being done on the basement level. It's really been a clean process for us.
Score and save this football season on your car insurance. Before the next game, save up to 40% on your auto insurance policy. That's right, 40% savings. Call an audible this season and contact the Del Val Insurance Group. They're an advocate for you, not an insurance company. That means they'll get you the right coverage and save you up to 40%. Call managing partners Fran or Jim of Del Val Insurance, 215-354-0122, or score and save at dvigi.com. dvigi.com.
EAGLES, Eagles.
Big Sil's National Football Show. Please hit the like button. We appreciate everybody coming aboard. Philly Godfather's going to join us here in a couple minutes. Hit that like button. By the way, give me a total on where we are in the likes. I'd like to see that number right now. By the way, all supers go to the top. In case we missed any, Xander, if we did, throw them up there. We'll hit on them. We're going to talk a little bit about Nick here in a minute, but some news around. Let me make this point to you here. By the way, here's Brian. Let me get to Brian. Tomlin is going to let Russ cook. Jalen Hurts is going to prove Brian Pumper right again. I smell the stinkness of the stinkers from the Jalenites savior. Oh, man. I love the Jalenites. Brian, thanks for the super chat. Yes, the Jalenites. Hey, by the way, look what's happening now. Kellen Moore's the new scapegoat. Says he hasn't improved the offense. You're welcome. I know. Well, what are you supposed to do? Keep letting Jalen throw the ball so you can look like 23? Well, the passing offense was better. Yeah, but you were going nowhere with that. You're going at least somewhere with this, maybe. Last year, you knew you're not going anywhere with that. You got destroyed in the playoffs by the Buccaneers. You were destroyed. The Bucs, the Bucs carved it off. Hey, Xander, I'm very sure you sent that link, but can you send it to Philly Godfather, please? He doesn't have a link. Hey, look at him down here. Philly goes like this. Hey, I'm a Jalenite. Guilty as charged. Okay. Hey, by the way, yeah, well, I'll tell Philly we're sending it now. Philly Godfather, sending. Here's Nick. Yeah, the drama this week, we were over it by Wednesday. Okay. Jalen said, or Xander says, headed for the same outcome this year. Only got more style points with Saquon. Thanks, Kellen. Again, you keep blaming Kellen for doing the right thing, running the ball. He brought in to improve the pass game. He was never going to improve the pass game. It's gotten worse. No shit. Hello. You're right, Xander. I'm not arguing with you. I knew what would happen. I didn't realize Barkley would be that good. That's the difference here. Do you understand Saquon Barkley is covered for the quarterback's inefficiencies? That's what's happened here. Saquon Barkley is the reason you're 11-2. Hurts has nothing to do with it. Well, his running. But still, he's supposed to improve the pass game. Get this. I have asked every week, everybody, hey, do you think Kellen Moore has improved the pass game? Hey, show me where Kellen Moore's improved the pass game. Hey, no, it's improving. It's getting better. Look at what he is in completion percentage. Completion percentage. The entire offense sucks in the passing game. So Jalen's got a good completion percentage, and yet the offense blows. Figure that one out. That must be Kellen Moore's fault. Okay. It's time to close the chapter on the Book of Hurts. How about Nick saying this too? Oh, yeah, we got over the whole drama by Wednesday. It was a non-factor. Then why'd you have private meetings? He's talking about his culture. You want to know a culture? Look at the Steeler culture. It's been that way since 1969. That's a culture. And 6 Super Bowls. Okay? I mean, and by the way, you actually think your offense is going to change and get better? You got 5 weeks left. Are you fucking kidding? So you're going to try to change something or improve something that you're not good at. That's not how football works. You form your identity by last year. You know what the identity of the 2023 Eagles were? Inconsistency. Bumper train, rough, but I'm about to buy a ticket. Hey, hey, Pumper, you know what's hard here? People don't want to admit the one common denominator. So you're going to get a new coordinator next year. Is that right? Are you trying to figure out? So either two things have happened here. Either Howie doesn't know the right guy to hire for Jalen, or Jalen's the wrong quarterback. Which is it? Hey, figure that one out. Hey, Pumper. So what is it? Is it Jalen? Or is it that Howie doesn't know how to or if you want to go by John McMullen's theory, Nick Sirianni. So Nick Sirianni can't hire a coordinator to save his last. Is that right? Okay, so he can't hire. He's meddling in the offense. So is this really more on Nick, like Philly 500 says? Which is it? You got to land on a pod somewhere. It's either the quarterback or Howie or somebody that hires these. Who the fuck hires these coordinators? Is it the coach? Okay. Then the coach should be fired for hiring these incompetent coaches to send Jalen in a tailspin to lessen the passing game. Isn't that what you do when you get a guy who doesn't produce on what you're trying to improve on? You fire the fucking guy. don't you? So which is it? It's either the quarterback, the GM, or the head coach. Who is it? By the way, you've hired one coordinator offensively that was worth a shit in 5 years offensively. Tell me, who is it? Philly, thank you, brother. Did the passing game really get worse? Hurts throws 15 to 20 less passes a game. Hurts has to be better in the passing game. Yeah, Philly, they're 31st. There's no, get this, Philly, you're the number one rushing offense in pro football, and you're the last passing offense in football. Is that a problem? Can we find a new RB to throw the ball? I'm not sure I've ever seen that dynamic. And you're 11-2, which is even more amazing on what the defense is doing. It's either Nick, Howie, or Jalen, or all of them. Who keeps hiring these stiff coordinators? So you're going to blame Nick. So Nick hired Brian. Now he's hired Kellen. Okay, so there's strike two. Well, you're going to let him. Would you let Nick? Hey, let's do this. To John McMullen's point, would you let Nick Sirianni, if John's right, he hires these coordinators, would you let Nick Sirianni hire another coach? If that is I don't believe it. If that's the case, would you let him hire someone else? Tell you something. If Nick Sirianni keeps his job and that offense somehow flutters in the playoffs and they can't win because they have no passing game, you're going to believe that Nick hired another coordinator? You're going to let a guy do the trifecta on hiring bad coaches for Hurts. Xander's right. Okay. He goes, Sills, the passing game has completely shit the bed under Kellen Moore. Well, according to John, Nick hired him. He hired Brian Johnson. What are we talking about here? 44-19. And he can't hire a coach to better his quarterback. And you're trying to tell me he's a really good coach? I'll tell you this. According to John McMullen, in my opinion, he can't identify good coaches. That would be under the assumption you believe he hired Vic, which I don't. Organization hired him as a consultant in 22. You think Nick hired him as a consultant? Come on. My view is Nick is tying the hands of the coordinator and quarterback. Moore has to incorporate Nick's concepts and philosophy, and it hurts everything. Okay. By the way, I happen to agree with you, Philly. I think he's more involved in the offense. You know how we know that? Philly, I don't know if you agree or not, but to me, I'll tell you how I think he's involved in the offense. First quarter. Supers go to the top. Yeah, Hurts sucks as a passing quarterback, but we are 11-2. Saquon's carrying us. But doesn't that say more about the opposing teams than it does us because they can't stop us? Correct. That's why I said this. Before I get Philly Godfather on, hey, that's why I said this. And Xander completely doesn't even agree with me on this. Kellen Moore has figured it out with the coaching staff that Hurts is not going to be good enough to win a Super Bowl for you. But what he has, the deck that's been dealt to him, the best chance to give him is no teams can stop it. The Ravens couldn't stop it. The Commanders couldn't stop the run game. Nobody has stopped the run game at all this year. Nobody. So that's what they're sticking with. They're one-dimensional. They're more predictable this year than they've ever been, even any time a year ago. Needs a higher Army coach for this offense. Yeah, it's like Bryson Daly running this offense. It's absolutely true. By the way, this weekend in the NFL is a big weekend because seeding in the NFL is on the line this week. There's some games. And by the way, the draft is starting to line up, and also the playoffs are starting to line up. Plus, I want to get the Godfather's thoughts on Army-Navy this weekend. I'll tell you this, both teams, great record, especially Army, with a great record this weekend. But I want to hear the Philly Godfather's opinion on what he's hearing and what he's seeing, especially with all the drama that's going on. Let's bring in our friend here. By the way, let me do this with Brian Pumper here. Eagles literally have the Dodgers roster, but the quarterback is differently written. Anybody who says different needs to be lobotomized. How do you see this? I mean, look, you're 11-2, Godfather. Your 9-game winning streak. You're looking at now the 31st ranked passing offense. Football. How do you see this high drama playing out this week?
I like the position we're in as a football team. It's a much better position than we were last season when we were 10-1. This is a much better team, more efficient team. And if you can take the ball out of Jalen Hurts' hands and he doesn't make as many mistakes because he had become a turnover machine, I love it. I mean, this team is poised to make a deep playoff run. Probably the second best team in the NFC. I like where we're at, man. I like Hurts as a quarterback. I mean, a couple of years ago, when he had to pass the ball, he wasn't half bad. Now he's not an elite. He's not a guy like Justin Herbert, Joe Burrow, Patrick Mahomes. But you don't need that. The number one thing that determines the winner of NFL games on each and every week is the turnover differential. And I've talked about it since I've come on your show a couple of years now. And if you can solve that issue, this Eagles team is dangerous. And you just keep, feeding Saquon Barkley that ball. And in the fourth quarter, when the opponent defenses are huffing and puffing and he's running through them like butter, what's better than that? I mean, the year they went to the Super Bowl, they had that, what was his name, Blunt from the Patriots. And in the fourth quarter, you saw what he was doing to teams. And they had the kid from Miami, what was his name?
Jadai.
Yeah, Jadai, yeah. So you need that. You need a running back like that if you want to go deep in the playoffs, if you want to make it to the Super Bowl, if you want to hold on to leads. This is a very stacked Eagles team offensively, defensively. And as long as, Barkley doesn't get hurt or A.J. Brown gets hurt, they're probably going to end up in the NFC Championship game.
So do you think the number one thing they went into that bye and they said is this: it's not important for us to have a top flight passing offense. The most important thing is what you just said. And it is really the most important thing. Don't turn the ball over. Be efficient on third down, which they've improved mightily on third down. And for them, just don't turn the ball over. Hand it to Barkley, play tight defense, and let's see when chips fall where they may. And so far, no team has stopped that dynamic, right?
Yeah, especially the way Vic Fangio has formed this defense into maybe the best defense in the NFL. If you got a defense like that, you can win a Super Bowl with Trent Dilfer. Doesn't matter who's your quarterback. Those Ravens defenses were unreal when he won a Super Bowl. And you would see his stats, 11 for 18 with 112 passing yards. Who cares? Just won a Super Bowl, man. That's what it's all about.
What do you see this Sunday? Eagles are favored by 5 over the Steelers, and the Steelers haven't won. Now, they don't play a lot of ball games, but they haven't won in Philadelphia since 1965. So this game, obviously, and here's the number one thing that you have, or two things you have with the Steelers. They're number one in takeaways, and they're also number one in time of possession, which means they keep your offense on the sidelines, and you got great coaching with Mike Tomlin. How do you see this thing playing out?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think Pickens is playing, so that hurts them offensively.
No Pickens.
But they did put up 27 points last week without him. So what scares me a little bit is the beef that's going on right now between A.J. Brown and Jalen Hurts. I mean, come on. They can't afford to have this type of beef in the locker room, this late in the season, going into that playoff run, going up against a team like the Steelers, who've surprised a lot of people this year with 10 wins on the season. The Steelers' expected win total was set at 7.5 when that number first came out, and then it moved to 8.5, and they've exceeded all expectations, and there's still 4 games left to play. So this Steelers team is really good. They're really gritty. I'm surprised the point spread's that high. Eagles -5. If you look at the defenses, the Eagles, okay, say they got the best defense in the NFL right now. Well, the Steelers ain't that far behind.
No.
And then offensively, I think the Eagles average a half more yards per play. But since Russell Wilson took over 7 weeks ago, the Steelers' offense is averaging 28 points per game. So they're putting up some big numbers. But again, this is I don't like the beef that's going on. I mean, what have you heard about the beef, Dan? That's what I'm worried about more than anything right now.
Again, I think it's more business because here somebody made a comment in our chat the other day, and I think it's right. I think AJ doesn't want to. I think AJ will do anything he has to do to win ball games. I just think AJ wants to win ball games his way, and unfortunately, that way is not going to win this year because the quarterback has not been good in the pocket. Here's some numbers for you too, just to go along with that. I mean, Josh Allen's thrown the ball 400 times, and he has been sacked 13 times. Jalen Hurts has thrown the ball 325 times, and he's been sacked 35 times. And you look at where right now A.J. Brown, his target per game, I know he's missed some games, but his target per game, he's 50th ranked in targets. Last year he was 3rd, and Smitty is 54th. So the passing game, they've completely, since the bye, stopped going that route, and I think it's manifested itself. And like you said, for me, my problem is you're nine-game winning streak. You're 11-2. This is about sharing the wealth, and this is about the fame of it, I guess, or the ego in it. It's kind of like McNabb a little bit in T.O., and it's not to that destruction. But remember, T.O. and McNabb did get to a Super Bowl. Yeah. You can say whatever you want. I mean, and T.O. had 140 yards receiving in that game. I wasn't like you saw. He had 14 catches in that game on a broken leg.
Yeah, well, let's hope Hurts doesn't throw up, in the last 2 minutes of the game like McNabb did in that Super Bowl. But what I'm hearing is, again, this is more business than it is personal. Yeah. And it's like A.J. Brown is paid $35 million a year on targets, not wins. And so, I mean, this is all business stuff. So I think you can get more over business than you can emotional when it comes personal. I don't think this shit's personal. I just think that this is how one guy wants it done. I mean, look, dude, we see it numerous times. Some guys want to win taking jump shots, and some guys want to win playing defense in basketball. Yeah. It's kind of the same stuff here going on. Well, I hope you're right, man. I hope you're right. But anytime something hurts your pockets, you end up taking it personally. So, but yeah. Listen, they can get over whatever their issues are because as long as they keep winning, I think everyone's going to be happy. And then maybe next year things change, the dynamics change on this offense. Maybe A.J. Brown ain't around no more. But we're talking about this year, about winning a Super Bowl this year. And we're talking about this week from a betting perspective. Anytime the Steelers are an underdog, you got to bet them blindly. Tomlin, I think, as an underdog, has covered the Vegas number like 65% of the time in the past 20 years. That's the best numbers of any coach in the NFL. And Russell Wilson as an underdog, I think he's covered the spread like 75% of the time when he's had a defense that gave up 20 points or less. So it's going to be tough covering the number here. I think the Eagles do win the game, but covering that 5.5, 5-point spread is going to be tough. I'm hoping the line gets up even higher to 6. And then I'm going to be taking the Pittsburgh Steelers +6 on the road in Philly here. Winning 9 games in a row is beautiful, but it's hard winning 10 games in a row in the NFL. And you know that more than anyone, Dan. So I like the Steelers here if it gets to 6. I think it's just too many points from a betting perspective.
Russell Wilson, 6-0 versus the Eagles all time, too, by the way. He's never lost to them. Whereas the Steelers, I don't think like I said, they haven't won in Philadelphia since 1965. So we'll see what goes on there. By the way, some prop numbers. Who do you think Jalen Hurts over under 250 yards passing?
I think it's less than that. I would go under 250. That Steelers defense is good. I think they're going to try to run the ball, not make any mistakes. I think I kind of like Jalen Hurts anytime touchdown with 2 good defenses on the football field. I like Najee Harris anytime touchdown for the Steelers. I went over his rushing yards. I think it was like 52.5. Some of the prop bets, I've placed so far this week.
What would you go with Russell Wilson over 225 yards passing, over under?
Over 225. It's going to be tough without Pickens, man. He's such a big part of that offensive production when it comes to receiving the football. They do have some other, good players.
But not really great weapons to go to outside of him.
What's his, what's it, 225? Is that what it is?
225.
I guess I would go under.
Give me a score.
Oh, man, that's tough. Score, I'd say maybe 19-17 Eagles.
It's 42.5, so you are expecting also a low game here on Sunday against the Steelers.
Yeah, but you know what? The Steelers, I would go under 40. Yeah, what's it, 42.5? Yeah, I would go under, but I think it's going to be lower than that, man. I think you got two good defensive teams. This is a big game for both teams. You got the Commanders up next for the Eagles, division game. This is huge for the Eagles here.
All right, let's get to the NFL. Kansas City Chiefs, every week they get into a game, whether it's Carolina or it's the Ravens or it's the Bills, they're in a game because of the lack of weapons that they have. Kansas City, they go into this game against Cleveland. I got to tell you something about Cleveland. They're playing for that guy, Kevin Stefanski, still. Jameis Winston right now, get this, believe it or not, has got a higher QBR rating than even Jalen Hurts right now, and he's in the top 5. I mean, they seemingly are playing for him. It's in Cleveland. Jimmy Haslam said, we're looking at everything here. Guys are playing for their jobs here. I mean, Kansas City, do you take Cleveland in the points, or is this a straight-up Kansas City win?
I mean, it's short. The number's, 4 minus 4. The total's at 43. It's down to 42.5 in some shops. I mean, I can't bet on – I'm not betting against Mahomes here down the stretch. This is when he shines. I guess gun to my head, I'd probably lay the 4 in Kansas City. I think they cover the number, man. Even though they haven't been covering the spread all season.
I'm not going to give you dog shit games like Cincinnati, Tennessee. Those two teams are finished right now. So let's do this one.
Hold up. The Bengals still have a shot of making the playoffs. And this is Joe Burrow time. If they run the tables, which I think they will, as of right now, they got like a 5% chance of making the playoffs, but there is a chance he gets in. And there's so many different scenarios.
If he gets into the playoffs, he'll win the MVP. Because of that, what he's doing, he's going to throw for 5,000 yards and maybe 50 touchdowns this season with only 7 picks. If he puts that team in the playoffs, his MVP stock, in my opinion, he gets my honors MVP vote for the most valuable player if he puts that Bengals team in the playoffs.
Listen, he's got a shot. This Bengals team has been the most unluckiest team all season. And against the Cowboys, you've finally seen that luck change a little bit, right? If he wins out and the Broncos go 1-3 down the stretch,
with a rookie quarterback,
Bengals get in. I think the Bengals get in the playoffs as long as the Colts don't get in.
Yep.
I think the Broncos got to beat the Colts this week because the Colts got 3 cupcakes down the stretch. I think they got Tennessee, Jacksonville, and the Giants. So if the Colts win this week, they probably get in the playoffs, and the Broncos don't. But the Broncos beat the Colts this week and then lose. They got a tough schedule down the stretch. Who are they playing? The Chargers, Cincinnati, and the Chiefs. And the Bengals can win out. They could make the playoffs. It's crazy if you think about it. But in this game against Tennessee, I like the Bengals. I think they cover the spread. It's a 4-point spread. I think Joe Burrow has a big game. The Tennessee pass defense is banged up. I went over 267.5 passing yards for Burrow. If you got some cojones, you can go over 300 passing yards for Cool Joe here, and you'll get plus 180 on your money. I like the Bengals. And don't be surprised if they win out.
Man, I'd love to see that.
Yeah, it's going to get interesting, Dan.
I would love to. I would totally dig to see that, man. If they end up saying and making that here, okay, I'd love that. Washington at New Orleans. I don't think Derek Carr's starting here. Here's Washington, obviously with the Eagles on the flip side of this ball game after the Steeler game on Sunday for Philly. They've got Washington and Philadelphia next week here. Here's a game here to keep pace with what's going on with the playoffs right now. They're in the playoffs right now if they were to start this weekend. So Washington, they get it done. Very tough place to play down at the Superdome.
Yeah, line opened up 6.5. It's up to 7. I've seen it as high as 7.5 at some offshore books. Commanders, healthier on offense and defense, as you just mentioned, and they're coming off a bye. They got to win this game because, like I said earlier, they're playing the Eagles next week. I'm not rushing to bet the game, but if I had to, I like the Commanders here -7. They've blown 4 teams out this season by 7 points or more, and the Saints. Let's be honest, they've had a disappointing season.
Especially after that start they had.
Yeah, remember they started off hot and everyone was talking about the Super Bowl, and we were telling everyone to pump their brakes. I like the Commanders here, man. They would. I think they get the job done.
Baltimore at the New York Giants. The New York Giants are fighting right now. If I'm not mistaken, let me look right now where the Giants are.
What are they fighting for?
Get this. The Giants right now are picking second in April's draft right now. Second. And you're watching Barkley do what he's doing with the Eagles right now. I don't know how you look at that and go, holy shit, you're going to pick second in April's draft at Lambeau. I mean, and Barkley potentially could be the MVP. And you want to hear something even more crazy? So let me tell you, you gave the MVP away and you get nothing in return for him.
Yeah.
You just let him walk out the building.
Bad coaching, bad management, bad ownership. I mean, if you bet against the Giants and Jets this year, you're rich. You made a fortune. So, this game, I mean, the line's 16.5. Totals are 42.5. Giants are all banged out health-wise. I mean, they really got no reason.
Hang on. Wait. The Ravens are favored by 16.5.
It's a ton. It's a million points.
Holy what's the record for the most points? I mean, that's like a Joe Namath Baltimore Colts line. 16.5 in an NFL game when the point differential is only 3 points in the league per week. This is a 16.5. Those numbers don't pop up a lot.
No, they're probably going to win by 30. You know what I mean? And it'd probably close 17.5. I'm not looking to bet it, but if somebody
No way.
You probably laid the first half number 9.5. Ravens come out, fast and strong against a team that doesn't care. And I'm really pissed off at the Giants because I got to bet on the Titans to end up with the worst record in the NFL, and it pays 12-1. And I think the Giants are going to kill that bet because that's how much we suck. So I'm hoping they might win another game on the season, but I can't see it happen, man. If anything, the Ravens are probably the right side.
Okay, how about this one here? How come I like Carolina over Dallas this weekend? You want to hear something crazy? Carolina's favored by 3 over the Dallas Cowboys going in. Now, they are at home, but they're favored by 3. Bryce Young and that team played hard last week against Philadelphia. Do you like Carolina?
They played hard the last 6 weeks. I mean,
they have.
They've been playing their asses off, and Cooper Rush ain't scaring nobody. So, how do you bet the Cowboys here? I like the Panthers on the money line. You can probably lay 2.5. There's a couple shops that have 2.5s out there floating around. So, Carolina's the right side, man. I mean, after Cowboys lost last week, that's it. They're done for the season. And we talked about it before the season started. We said go under 10.5 wins on your show. They're going to regress. I didn't expect them to be this bad, but they're pretty horrible, man.
I picked 5 wins, and they're at it right now. Well, speaking of horrible, the Hiawatha, Aaron Rodgers and his Jets will take on the Jacksonville Jaguars in what has to be the shit bowl of the weekend. We have like the Orange Bowl, we have the Sugar Bowl, and we have the shit bowl. It's Jets and Jags this weekend. Anything redeeming about this game that you like?
I'm not rushing to bet that game, Dan. I mean, how do you bet the Jags? They've been in a bunch of games this season. But if I had to take a side, oh, man, the Jets have killed me all year. I'd probably like you know what? I don't even want to give that advice out. I mean, even with the backup quarterback, even with the fact that, they've struggled to score 10 points in 3 of their last 4 games, the Jaguars have. And the Jets have actually been putting up some points and scored 74 points in their last 3 games. Jets still have a pretty good pass rush. I think they're ranked 6th or 7th in sacks. Every time I bet the Jets, man, they cost me money. And the Jags have been stingy, man. What are they, 3-10 this year? But I think they've covered 7 out of 12 games. So I'm not looking to bet this game. But, I'm not even going to give advice out on it, man.
You know what? I made a suggestion. If North Carolina can hire Belichick, if Doug Peterson gets fired in Jacksonville, Temple should hire him. But instead, what do? They hire a stiff. The program will be stopped in about 5 years. I mean, nobody gives a shit about Temple football and Philadelphia. You know why? Because they don't care about it. So you could have took a big swing and brought in a guy like Doug Peterson, and everyone would have showed up at Lincoln Financial to go see at least what he's doing. You would have brought some juice to it. Look at Carolina. Carolina's a hoop school. That's not a football school. And now you signed the greatest coach in the history of the program. And now you got Lawrence Taylor and Michael Jordan as your pitch man. I mean, now guess what?
You just crushed Harry May's dreams. You know, he's a big Temple guy.
Dude, Temple is all they should not only.
Wasn't Bruce Arians a Temple coach at one time?
Yes. Listen, they should
actually
dude, they should, if they're not going to take it serious, you should just be a hoop school.
Yeah.
You should be a hoop school and a cheerleading school like you are. Yeah. Okay. You mean you develop cheerleaders, debate teams, and basketball teams. All right, let's go over here.
Just don't live on campus. That's all I got to say.
That's right. Because well, if you want to go woke, you live there. Indianapolis and Denver in Mile High. Both teams fighting for playoff spots here.
Yeah, and we just talked about this. Even though the Broncos are 8-4 and they're in second place in the AFC West, I mean, if they don't win this game, they can miss the playoffs. The Broncos right now, they got an 89% chance of making the playoffs. But if they lose this game, it drops down to 42%. And then they got to struggle against, like I said, the Chargers, the Bengals, and the Chiefs. When it comes to betting this game, this game is big for both teams, but the Broncos are just a better team. They got the better pass rush. I think they got the better quarterback. They got the better coach. The line's 4. Man, the Colts haven't been stingy. They've hung around and covered some point spreads this season. But in this game, I think that defense is too much. I think the pass rush is too much. I think they're going to make Richardson look a little stupid here. I like the Broncos -4 a little bit.
All right, here's a game, one of the games of the week. Buffalo, which comes off a tough loss against the Rams, have to go to Detroit, which is playing their ass off right now. How do you see this game? You got 2 MVP candidates in this game here with Jared Goff and Josh Allen. Right now, if you're Buffalo, you got to stay kind of close to where Kansas City is for home field advantage. You want Kansas City to go to Buffalo. If you're Buffalo, you want teams coming to you up there in northern New York right now. And if you're Detroit, you've got Minnesota, and you got Philadelphia still on your heels right now. So how do you see this bad puppy playing out?
I mean, how great is Josh Allen? He loses the game last week.
6 TDs.
Puts up crazy numbers. And afterwards at his press conference, he goes, I got to do better.
Yeah, I know.
Like, that's a real quarterback. That's a guy I want on my team instead of some of these quarterbacks that are always blaming someone else or this or that. Like, that's what you're supposed to say, if you want to be a legendary quarterback. And Josh Allen, he's the man. This might be their season, man. This team is stacked. I think they bounced back this week after that loss against the Rams the previous week. I don't even think you're going to need the 2.5 points. I like Buffalo here on the money line. I like them plus 2.5. I think Buffalo wins the game. Detroit is really banged up on the offensive and defensive side of the ball. The Bills have a plus 15 health score better than Detroit heading into this game. Offensively, they're both ranked 1 and 2 in scoring. But like I said, this Detroit Lions team is really banged up. They're even more banged up headed in this game than they were last week. So give me Buffalo, man. I don't even need the points. Bet them on the money line. I think they win the game outright.
Arizona dropped a game last week to Seattle. They're playing New England now, who is not completely awful when it comes to defense. Their offense is nowhere to be seen. They got the worst passing offense. The Eagles are second worst passing offense. Do they rebound in Phoenix, Arizona? By the way, Kyler Murray's playing some pretty good ball this year, but it's just a consistency issue with Arizona.
We need a win this week. We went over 6.5 wins on the season. I think they're 6 and 7 right now. Mm-hmm. So I think they win the game. I don't know if they cover the spread. I mean, Arizona let me down the last 2 weeks in a row. I lost some money on them, so I'm not looking to invest in them right now because the Patriots, even though they're 3 and 10, they've hung around with some pretty good teams. Line's 5.5, 46. If I do anything, I'll give it out on Twitter, on my Twitter account.
2 teams fighting for a playoff spot. Buccaneers have kind of righted the ship since they got Mike Evans back, and they're running the ball better. You got the Chargers here also fighting for a playoff spot. By the way, the number one team when it comes to points not surrendered and points against are the Chargers defense, believe it or not. They've had a really good year on defense here. Tampa Bay goes to Los Angeles where there's absolutely zero fans at SoFi Stadium. Who do you like here, Buccaneers or Chargers?
Guess what quarterback is heads and shoulders above Jalen Hurts this year?
Man, it is totally Baker Mayfield. It is unbelievable. He has outplayed and he's beaten them. Jalen Hurts the last 2 years, it's not close. Baker Mayfield has outplayed him the last 2 seasons. Since 23 and 24, Baker Mayfield's the guy.
And when they were healthy, they beat the Eagles and the Lions by 17 points each.
Yep.
But they're banged up. Bucky's banged up. They're missing some guys on offense. The price is right at -3. From a price perspective, there's no edge there. I'm a little worried about Herbert. I'm hearing rumors he's a little banged up.
Yes, he missed practice today.
Yeah, so I'm going to wait, sit back to see if any news pops up on that front, closer to game time. If he's a healthy go, then I guess I like the Chargers with that defense. They should be able to slow down the Buccaneers. I know the Buccaneers have won 3 in a row, but if you look at the teams they've beaten, I mean, it's the trash of the NFL. I haven't bet the game yet. It's 3 and 45.5. The number's right on point. It's right there. I'm probably not going to do nothing with this game.
Green Bay at Seattle. I mean, both teams, playoff teams, and you're in Seattle, one of the tougher places to play.
Yeah. It is a really tough place to play. That noise level's through the roof. And that usually hurts teams whose offensive line is banged up or who have an inefficient offensive line because the noise happens. Then you get more penalties, you get more sacks, you get more mistakes by your quarterback. But the Packers, man, this team's really good. Seattle's pass defense, it's okay. Seattle's rush defense, mediocre at best. Geno's having a pretty good year, but if you look at his touchdown to interception ratio, I think it's like 14 and 12 compared to Jordan Love, who's like 21 and 11. So I think the Packers got the better quarterback. Packers offense, in my opinion, is much better. They rank 11 spots better in the yards per play metric, and they're ranked number 2 overall in the NFL. I like the Packers here -2.5.
Monday night, Chicago at Minnesota. Minnesota, obviously, right now at 11-2. Who would have thunk it that Sam Darnold's even playing better than Jalen Hurts right now? He's on pace for 4,400 yards. You got 2 wide receivers that are going to go over $1,000. You got a 1,000-yard running back, and you got a lights-out defense with Brian Flores taking on a Chicago team that's really wounded going into this game. Who would have thunk after this weekend Minnesota could be 12-2?
Yeah. Their season 1 total opened up 6.5. It went up to 7.5. And like you said, they could be 12-2. And they got one of the better pass defenses in the league, one of the better defenses. They got great coaching, too. And you've seen what he's done this season. He could end up being coach of the year. Line 7, it opened up 5.5, went up to 7. The Bears are dead to me. Caleb Williams is dead to me. Every time I bet them, they burn me. If anything, I probably look to, take Minnesota in the teaser down to a pick 'em or -1. One thing that scares me is the whole world's going to be betting Minnesota here. Last time I checked, like almost 90% of the early action in Vegas and offshore in Costa Rica is on the Vikings, and Vegas never gives out free money. But this Bears team, I'm not looking to back, a dog like that. This dog's got fleas. I'm not looking to bet him. But if anything, I'd probably put Minnesota in the teaser.
Finally, 2 teams that this is not a dog this week. Army Navy on Saturday. It's not a dog. I mean, you got an 11-2 Army team that could rightfully have a conversation that you could have made a comment that they could have been in the 12-team playoff over Boise State. I mean, Jesus criminy, really? What is Boise State and who they beat? Vegas? So what? Yeah. I mean, Army's 11-2. I mean, I think Army's a better team actually than Boise State, but Navy's not awful too. They got a lot of wins this year. One of the more competitive games in this series is the 125th Army-Navy game. Who do you like?
Yeah, line was 7. It's dropped down to 6.5, 6 in some spots. It's hard to see Army lose here. I think they are the better team. But if you look at the Vegas bet splits, again, this scares me a little bit. If you look at the, back to Black Knights, 75% of the early action is on Army. other than their blowout loss to Notre Dame. I think they've beaten teams by an average of 22 points per game. So they're really a good team. When you look at the common opponents, both teams have lost to the Fighting Irish. Army beat down Tulane, and I think they beat down Rice. And I think Navy lost to both those teams. So that kind of scares me a little bit to back the dog. But again, it's all about the price. And when you're grabbing almost a touchdown, a lot of these games are close. You look at over the last decade. I kind of like Navy here. If you can grab a +7, I like the underdog a little bit. I think Army wins the game, but I think Navy can hang around a little bit.
And it's in Maryland, the home of Annapolis, too. So
yeah.
It's in Landover.
Navy doesn't give up the ball. They're stingy. They're ranked 21st in the nation in turnover margins. So as long as they don't lose that turnover battle, I get touchdowns a lot in these type of games. Usually these games stay under and the dog covers. So, and statistically speaking, on paper, when it comes to yards per play, both teams are almost identical. So I kind of like Navy, man. Give me the points with Navy +7.
That is our friend Philly Godfather, folks. You got to check his stuff out for the weekend. Tell the folks how they can find you, my friend.
Yeah, on X at Philly Godfather. The website's at phillygodfather.com, and every Friday, 5:30 p.m. on the best show in the world, Dan Sileo Show. And make sure you check out the website, phillybooked.com. My book should be available soon. And then we start working on the movie, and you're going to be in it, Dan.
I'm looking forward to this thing, man. My friend, thank you so much. Have a great football weekend.
Good luck, guys.
You got it. Philly Godfather. We're looking forward to that, too. I've seen the cover of the book and everything. It looks spectacular, and we so look forward to that. Don't forget our good friends at BetUS. Teaming up with our friends at BetUS. You just heard the games, folks. Right now, go to BetUS. Are teaming up with our friends here at JAKIB and BetUS gives you an opportunity for the YouTube 150. That's right. The YouTube 150, 150% in sign-up bonuses to 2K. Also, your second and third are 125%. Go to betus.com.pa. That's betus.com.pa. Fastest payouts in the business. Live wagering on every single major game you can see. betus.com.pa. That's betus.com.pa. And do me a favor, tell them Big Sil sent you.
If you missed any of today's show on the JAKIB Media channel, listen to the podcast on your way home. Available on YouTube, Apple, and Spotify.
Ignite your nights with free live entertainment daily, only at Live Casino and Hotel Philadelphia's Center Bar. 7 days a week, enjoy some of the region's top party bands, performers, and DJs as they take the stage in the heart of the casino action. Great cocktails, live music, and lively moments. It's all happening at Center Bar at Live Casino and Hotel Philadelphia. Visit livecasinophilly.com for more details and the complete list of upcoming events. Must be 21 or older. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
The following is a real testimonial from the father of a young injured victim.
I didn't think she was going to make it.
Major Perry's daughter was the victim of a horrific accident caused by someone else's negligence.
If you don't find the right counselor, law firm that you're looking for, you will get lost in the wilderness.
Badly injured? Call the Fritz and Bianculli Law Firm at 215-458-2222 and find out why they say, "We got this."
In our hometown, we all look out for each other. We step up to keep our communities going strong. And at Independence Blue Cross, we're here to keep you going strong as the #1 health insurer in the region. No IBX is always looking out for you.
noticed that there was mold creeping into our basement about a year and a half ago, and wanted to make sure that we were getting rid of the problem permanently. We actually reached out to several different contractors to get it resolved, and actually 2 of them recommended DryTech to us as a long-term solution. Other than the noise factor, we wouldn't even know that there was work being done on the basement level. It's really been a clean process for us.
Score and save this football season on your car insurance. Before the next game, save up to 40% on your auto insurance policy. That's right, 40% savings. Call an audible this season and contact the Del Val Insurance Group. They're an advocate for you, not an insurance company. That means they'll get you the right coverage and save you up to 40%. Call managing partners Fran or Jim of Del Val Insurance, 215-354-0122, or score and save at dvigi.com. dvigi.com.
EAGLES. Eagles.
Agent of Chaos. Yeah. You know. Hey, I just do 4 hours every day. You know, it's sports talk. And, I have a propensity to make people upset. The Agent of Chaos. Hey, man, I got Army this weekend on Saturday. Don't forget our legendary pre and post game, also the halftime and then the post here at JAKIB on Sunday, following and pre with the Steeler game. I will see you then. Make sure you have yourself a fabulous Army-Navy weekend and Steeler and Eagle weekend. Big Joe, Xander, thank you guys so much. Appreciate everything you guys do. Thank you for all the supers, everything you guys do. Hit the like button on the way out. We'll see you Sunday, or we'll see you Monday 2 to 6 right here on JAKIB, and we shall see you on the flip side.